Thanh Lien Kai Din Episode 2. More than an hour later, the paper crane landed on Thanh Lien Mountain foothill. Thanh Lien Mountain is more than 500 jong high, and there are a lot of exotic flowers on the mountain. Thanh Lien Son displayed a set of second-grade low-grade laws of the three talents Lu Copper A. This battle is a defensive formation, even if it is 5 or 6 famous Truc County monks who attack at the same time. There is no time for a day, great. Incompetent against. Of course, the prerequisite is to control the royal family's law formation, and the cultivator of the royal family has plenty of magic power, otherwise the formation will be destroyed for a few hours. Thanh Lien Mountain has built many architectures. The part that does not have the spiritual roots of mortals is in the middle of the mountainside. They are either in charge of repairing rooms, or at the royal family, they open a shop as a prostitute, or in Lien Son. Good working road, not yet Truc Co refining chi period monk cooks rice. The top of the mountain has a head of 3 miles, large and small, second-order low-grade spirit vein, and the Vuong family established a huge palace on the top of the spirit vein, and people who have spirit root clans live inside. In the study room, Vuong Minh Bien was reading through an ancient book on the table. On the table were dozens of books, autographs with introductory text, and pictures. Lu Tan Nhi stood behind Vuong Minh Bien and gave Vuong Minh Bien a shoulder rub. Xuanjin is usually used for first-order refining materials. The vast majority of spiritual qi will be mixed with Xuanjin, enhancing its durability, quite powerful, and most of it is using Xuanjin to refine it. You gave Sinner that golden money sword, that is to use Xuanjin to refine it. Lu Tan Nhi said slowly. Wang Mingyuan put his hand on the top of the book, nodded and said, I don't know how big the mineral vein is, how long it can be extracted, but even if it can only be exploited for a year, it is enough to overcome the immediate difficulties. Mandarin. This time Sin Nhi has made such a great merit, how do you plan to reward him? I told you first, you are a householder, you want to reward and punish, do whatever, you should reward him. 200, no, 300 spirit stones. 10 pounds of mysterious gold is worth 300 spirit stones. Sinner discovered the most mysterious gold mineral vein, and rewarded with 300 spirit stones is not too much. Definitely the association will reward the birth child, but now I don't know the size of the mineral vein. Wait for the 7th brothers to send someone back to report the mineral vein scale and say again, I hope the mineral vein scale is a little bigger, can let us exploit more for a few years. Yes, Tan Nhi, will this year's Lin Tang Deep decrease or not? Is it enough to raise silkworms? That girl Trong Toya took very good care of the Lin Tang tree. Lin Tang Deep was very much enough to raise the spirit silkworm, but raising Toyat Van Millet first order low grade Lin Cup was not much, there was more than one left. Hundreds of pounds. It won't last for a few days. On the other hand, Lu Tan Nhi didn't finish speaking. A burst of voices suddenly sounded. Third brother, good news. The 7 brothers are back. Wang Mingyuan stood up. Vuong Truong walked quickly, his face full of joy. 7th brother, how big is the mineral vein? How many years can it be mined? Vuong Minh Bien couldn't wait to ask. It's a small model of Xuanjin mineral vein. According to Tan Lam's calculation, it can be mined for 3 or 4 years. A day of mining Xuanjin ore can produce 2 or 3 pounds of Xuanjin, but human hands that's not enough. Uncle Wu let you send 30 famous cultivators. Yes, you have to bring a set of tools, to avoid harassment from thieves. The royal family is a mistake. Vuong Minh Bien's face showed an extremely ecstatic expression, nodded and said, I will immediately stop taking care of people. Yes, why did you return alone? Will Tan Lam return? Vuong Truong smiled and said, Chingalin is also back. 3rd brother, I bring you a surprise, you guys come in. Shocked. Wang Mingyuan was slightly stunned. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Chengsheng and Wang Qing walked over. Children, why did you come back? Lu Tan Nhi saw Vuong Truong Sinh. Her face showed a happy expression. Vuong Minh Bien's eyes flashed a little bit of joy, but very quickly, he raised his eyebrows and blushed and said, Sir, how did you run back by yourself? 4 years of tenure is not enough, you ran back. Come, who is responsible for defending Ping'an district? You are abandoning the mission. It's the 5th uncle to let me return. Wang Chengsheng said in a low voice. In the impression of Vuong Truong Sinh, Vuong Minh Bien forever covered his face. Gradually, as soon as Vuong Truong Sinh saw his father, he became timid in his heart. 3rd brother, is the 5th uncle who let Chengsheng return. Chengsheng discovered that the Zon Kim mineral vein should have been reported to you by him, the Master of Heaven, temporarily from other clansmen, with the 5th uncle watching. See, it's okay. Vuong Truong hit a circle. Lu Qinger spoke to Vong Min Bin for a moment and said angrily, "It's Uncle Wu who let Sinner return, this time you don't object." Wang Mingyuan's face paused for a moment, and said, "The country has a national law, the family has a family rule, if Uncle Wu lets you go back, forget it, tell me about it, you discovered that Xuanzhen mineral vein has passed." Wang Changsheng breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. From next to Tonthatch Town, the old man used pigeons to send messages, went to Tonthatch Town to destroy Quang Corpse, and discovered Zon Kim mineral vein. He didn't even have a word. Leave out. When Lu Tan Nhi heard that when Wang Changsheng was dealing with the Quang Corpse alone, his heart lifted to his throat, knowing that Wang Changsheng had not been injured. After destroying the corpse, only then did he breathe a sigh of relief. Vong Min Bin showed his approval, nodded and said, "It's not bad. It seems that it is right for you to go to Bin and Town to take charge of the Heavenly Master. You go down first to rest. I'll call you when I have something to do." "Children obey," Wang Changsheng repeatedly responded. "Husband, seventh brother, you guys talk slowly, I won't disturb you." Lu Qinger dropped a sentence and took Wang Changsheng out. "I haven't seen you for 3 years. You are very thin. Your life is definitely not good. Let me make you jade, greed, lotus seed, and your face, your grace, your clothes are also ruined. Please help you do a few things. New clothes. 3 years old, a little taller, you wait a little longer and try once if the clothes fit you. If it doesn't fit, let's exchange it for you. I will return it to you to make shoes." Listening to his mother's non-stop chirping, Wang Changsheng was deeply moved in his heart. Half an hour later, Wang Changsheng followed Lu Tan Nhi into a wooden room, in the gallery of pots and pans. Obviously, this is the kitchen. "You've come to such a path. You must be very tired. Sit down first and rest for a while, face to face." Lu Tan Nhi let Vuong Truong Sinh sit down to rest. She went to the stove. Lu Tan Nhi took out a simple rustic vase from her storage bag, poured out all the flour inside, added water to knead the flour, revealing a very familiar appearance. She said at the same time, she opened her mouth to say, "Born, you must have suffered a lot in Binan district. You have a grudge against your father. Your father also wants you to stay in Thanh Lien Mountain to practice peace of mind, no matter what. 2. He is the owner, wants to take the lead. It's not bad for them. He takes care of the most difficult things for everyone. You have a lot of sympathy for your father. I give you Trong Toyat every year those things. Also part of your father. You just left the Qinglian mountain that moon. Your father didn't sleep well, dreaming about you happening, waking him up. Every time after Trong Toyat returned the things, knowing that you are safe and sound, your father can sleep peacefully, and, listening to his mother's somewhat grumbling words. Wang Changsheng in warm heart. After being reconciled, Lu Tan Nhi took out a piece of blood clots from the storage bag, and it was as big and small as a fist. A first-order low-ranking beast suddenly fell ill, didn't eat or drink. Your father let people kill. The younger generation took care of the body. My family was also divided into one block. At first I wanted to do well to give Trong Toyat gave it to you. Didn't expect you to come back. Let me make you a fried bamboo shoot with meat. Eat all the noodles. You can't eat enough. You are now in this age. Have to eat a lot of mascot. Progress is also easy. Chongfeng is already a 7th layer refiner. Big brother has entered the 7th floor refining. Wang Changsheng was slightly surprised. His face could not help but reveal a look of admiration. Alchemy has a total of 9 layers. The royal families, long, family characters are all at the 7th layer of refining and below, and their poor qualifications are only at 2 layers of qi refining. Vuong Truong Phong is the great son of Vuong Truong Sinh Vuong Min Tri, the eldest son. This year is 25 years old. While Lin has an induction capacity of up to 75, his qualifications are better than that of Vuong Min Trung. He is the next generation of the royal family. The first young man. This is also Vuong Min Trung's main reason to go to work. After all, Vuong Truong Phong is still young. Entering the Truc County period has a larger ratio. The spiritual root cultivator will have an predominant type of spiritual base. The induction is just the spiritual root cultivator sensing some kind of strong and weak spiritual attribute, sensing the highest number of spiritual roots and claiming to be the master of the spiritual root. Normally speaking, the Immortal Cultivator Association chooses to match the cultivation method based on the owner of the spiritual root attribute, and the master of the spiritual root will have a higher sense of it, and more of the corresponding spirit attribute will be absorbed, and the cultivation speed will increase. The faster it is accomplished, the faster an Immortal Cultivator has no matter how many types of spirit root attributes, all of which add up to 100. Vuong Truong Sinh Tui Lin has only 60 levels of sensing capacity. In Truong's self-esteem, it is not bad, but compared to Vuong Truong Phong, it is still far behind. Because of his good qualities, Vuong Truong Phong does not use it to work. He can stay at home to practice. Even if the current family cannot import and export, the family provides Vuong Truong Phong with resources not only decrease, on the contrary increase. Vuong Dutong's age is already advanced. The royal family must want to appear as a new monk truck company. If there is no truck county monk in town, the royal family is no different from the small child holding a needle at the market, which will lead to countless songs. Prowling the eyes. As long as Vuong Truong Phong enters the truck county flag, he can protect the royal family for 200 years of peace. The family is suffering and difficult, and it is not possible to reduce Vuong Chengfeng's cultivation resources. This is the common understanding between Vuong Minbin and the clan. That's right. God compensates the industrious person. Sinner, your qualifications are still inferior to Truong Phong, but you want to try harder than him. Wait until your term is full, I will let you know. Your father summoned you to Thanh Lien Mountain. You lived in Ping'an County for 4 years. You should also return to Thanh Lien Mountain to practice, and you set up a great gong this time, and discovered the first Zon Kim mineral vein, summoning you to the Qinglian Mountain. The name is righteous, it is your father, and I will not object. Mother, as long as it's for the sake of the family, it's always like that wherever you work. Don't make it difficult for me to do it. What is difficult to do with this? Your father is a householder, wants to handle things fairly. If there are extreme things, he will let his son take charge. If there is a good thing, then push his son away. What kind of thing is this? Yes, Madam gave you the weak qi refining, did you see it? Vuong Chengsheng was somewhat hesitant, faltering and said, look at it, but the content is quite complicated, I don't understand. 3 years ago, when Vuong Truong Sinh separated from Thanh Lien Mountain, Lu Tan Nhi gave Vuong Truong Sinh a copy of Weak Qi Refining, instructing Vuong Truong Sinh to memorize the above content. Weak Qi Refining is a qi refining bibliography, introducing several hundred types of first-rank refining materials and knowledge base of qi refining. Vuong Chengsheng began to look at it for a while, but once in a while, he also stuffed this book into the storage bag and did not continue to flip through it. It was also a problem for him to maintain his own cultivation. A single piece of spirit stone could not be separated into 2 flowers, and there was an excess of spirit stones to study qi refining. The royal family just started the family. There was a first-grade high-grade qi refiner, who could refine dozens of first-grade spirit weapons, but later the family became more and more disappointed, unable to spend enough spirit stones. Train the air master. Vuong Minbin is not without thinking of training an air refiner, but the cost of training a first-class qi refiner is too much. First-order refining materials are not particularly valuable, but training a refiner. It takes hundreds of thousands of times to practice qi refining. If there is a difference in luck, and thousands of spirit stones are wasted, a qi refining practitioner may not be able to refine a low-grade spirit tool. This is also the cultivation of the small family that survives the status quo. The Tu Tien world has a delicious dinner with 4 occupations: the Che Fu master, the air refiner, the alchemist and the battle mage. The small family disciple can understand. It's good to have such a thing. The vast majority of small families who cultivate immortal cultivation rely on trading Spirit Valley and raw materials to live, and barely maintain the family's transportation. In addition to the royal family, Trong Binh district also has Hoang, Song and 2 cultivators of the small family, the strongest strength of the Song family, opening a Lin talisman house, specializing in selling the first-rank spirit talisman, with a relatively good intention. Leaving the royal family and the royal family with red eyes. 10 years ago, the royal family discovered the most small model of Zon iron mineral. The situation has changed for the better, but it is not possible to cultivate an artifact refiner. The specific reason, and outsiders are not clear. Song, Hoang, and Bong Tam, the clans joined forces to open the most small model building in Ward. There are weapons shops in the town, but selling spirit weapons are all bought from the big town, making a little difference. Price difference. The price is not high, but the quality is average. The 3 clans all saw that this weapon was empty, and all wanted to swallow this large cake alone, but at present, the Song family's great wealth was able to cultivate an alchemist to the ratio. Biggest. The royal family also saw this business opportunity, but unfortunately, it was powerless. But Lu Tan Nhi always remembered this matter, and always felt that the Vuong family would sooner or later train himself to be a refiner. So from Vuong Chengsheng entered the lecture hall and began to study and cultivate knowledge, and Lu Tan Nhi had the purpose of granting Vuong Truong Sinh knowledge of qi refining, hoping that the future Vuong Truong Sinh could become an air purifier. Gain great family training. Vuong Chengsheng even maintaining his own cultivation is also a problem. Who has the mind and resources to learn the art of qi refining? Lu Tan Nhi heard Vuong Truong Sin's reply. Her big eyelashes waved. She was about to rebuke a few sentences, but she just thought of her son who had been in the mundane world for 3 years, lacking food and clothing. Swallow again. In the past few days, you have taken a good look at Qi refining weakness. I want you to read it backwards. Is there anything you don't understand? Please explain to you. Can you hear it clearly? Lu Tan Nhi solemnly advised. Children know. Wang Chengsheng responded respectfully. It didn't take long for the food to be ready. A bowl of steaming hot noodles, soup with a layer of oil, 2 large dumplings, a fried bamboo shoots with meat, fragrant aroma, very charming. Wang Chengsheng sniffed, showing a passionate expression on his face, and said with a smile, "It's so delicious. I haven't eaten the rice fields for a long time. As long as you like it, I will make it for you every day. Eat it quickly. If you have a cold face, you won't be able to eat well." Lu Tan Nhi heard her son's praise. Immediately her face was happy. There's so much food. I can't eat it all, but I don't have such a beast so I can eat it. Lady, you can eat it too. Lu Tan Nhi shook her head. Her eyes were full of fondness, and said, "Please taste it. You are not hungry, you eat." Under Wang Chengsheng's persistence, Lu Tan Nhi took out a small bowl, groped for some noodles, and many women immediately refused. It's so delicious. Still a lady making delicious food. Wang Chengsheng just ate noodles. One side was confused. Watching Vuong Truong Sinh eat like the wind, Lu Tan Nhi showed a happy expression on her face. This meal, Vuong Truong Sinh ate very happily. Lu Tan Nhi was also very happy. Having eaten enough, Wang Chengsheng returned to his residence, showered, changed clothes, changed his mother's clothes into clothes, took out a copy of the book, the cover of which was written in 4 large letters, Refining the Weak Qi. The content of the weak refining Qi refining is actually not complicated. It carefully introduces several hundred types of first-order gas refining materials, with text and pictures. Apart from that, there are also a number of refining facilities. Knowledge gas. Simply put, Qi refining is simply putting various materials into Qi refining in the furnace, burning it into liquid iron, then pouring it into the corresponding mold, cooling it, and then doing it for the second time. 2 refining, using special materials to engrave spiritual texts. It depicts 3 spiritual forms, which are low-grade spirit art. Middle-grade spirit art has 4 to 6 spiritualist paths. Upper-grade spiritual Qi has 9 spiritual texts. Spirit Qi is refining Qi. A monk often uses martial arts. Gas. The price in tens to hundreds of spirit stone blocks is not the same. The spiritual weapon above is the Dharma weapon. The Dharma weapon is the Truc County monk who often uses weapons. The magic weapon is expensive, not to mention, consumes a lot of magic power. The monk Qi refining, if it is used the magic weapon, if you can't kill the enemy, you will be turned into fish and meat on a wooden chopping board, regardless of the enemy's invasion. Therefore, the vast majority of cultivators of the Qi refining period are using spiritual artifacts. Only a very small number of cultivators who have great wealth and profound magic power will use the magic tool. One evening passed very quickly. On the morning of the second day, the sky invited just dawn. Lu Tan Nhi knocked on Vuong Truong Sin's door. Vuong Truong Sinh got up and opened the door. Lu Tan Nhi put down the breakfast. A bowl of lotus seed tea, 5 blocks of Thanh Lien cakes, fragrant aroma, makes the listener open. Children, this is your favorite dish to eat: lotus seed tea and Thanh Lien cakes. Return it hot. Hurry up and eat it. Lu Tan Nhi looked at Wang Chengsheng with a smile on her face. Her eyes were full of affection. Mother, how many times have I told you, I'll go to the kitchen for breakfast, you don't have to intentionally let me come. Lu Tan Nhi smiled and said, the kitchen is not far from here, it's just a few steps to reveal the truth, you should eat it. It's not good to eat cold. Yes, after breakfast, go to the study room, your father has about looking for you. I want to go and pick up Lin Tang deep. This year Lin Tang's tree is growing especially well. I want to go with you, great uncle. They go to Lin Tang garden to pick Lin Tang deep. I guess it will come back at night. There are also some tenders on the oven. If you're hungry, warm up the dumplings, eat a meal in the afternoon, and I'll give you a good meal at night. No, ma'am, go to work. Wang Chengsheng a response. That's right, remember to memorize the contents of the Qi refinement weakness by heart. I want to test you at night, but don't let me be lazy, otherwise I won't let you go. Lu Tan Nhi gave a sentence and left. After eating breakfast, Wang Chengsheng went to the study room. Vong Min Bin had just eaten the curtain. While flipping through the book, it was revealed that he was very busy. Father, listen to the lady, you have something to find me. Vuong Changsheng asked cautiously. Vuong Minbin ate all the tenders, raised his head to look at Vuong Changsheng, and said, "Listen to the seventh brother, you have found a place of spirit vein. There are no outsiders here, tell me the truth, that part of spirit vein. When did you find out?" 3 years ago, I accidentally discovered, but that spirit vein is too small, only 2 feet large and small, the spiritual chi is faint, and a cultivator is a little reluctant, the baby is not at this time. Report. Vuong Changsheng said softly, feeling a little worried in his heart. It was discovered 3 years ago, why didn't you report it immediately? You are Ping'an in Tianxi district, Ping'an in the inner district of Binan has a spirit vein, you need to report it immediately, say it lightly, you are a loser. Falling from the task, saying seriously, you are embezzlement, only taking care of your own interests, not looking at the interests of the family. Wang Mingyuan's face was condensed, and he did not politely reprimand. Vuong Changsheng looked nervous, did not dare to breathe heavily, and lowered his head. Vuong Minbin saw Vuong Changsheng like this, got angry and said in a low voice, Wei is talking to you. Why are you lowering your head? Raise your head, do you know this is wrong? Children know wrong. Vuong Changsheng raised his head and answered honestly, with some regret in his heart and his father's frankness. Knowing wrong can be changed. Nothing is better, see if you take the initiative to be honest, this time is over, but this kind of thing, never allowed to have a second time, otherwise the father wants to do it. I adhere to the family law, typical of justice, do you understand? Vuong Minbin said seriously. The child is transparent. Vuong Changsheng, on the contrary, did not doubt his father's words, with his understanding of his father, this kind of thing, his father really can do. Wang Mingyuan heard Vuong Changsheng's reply, his face paused for a moment, and said, the country has a national law, the family has a family rule, this time you have discovered the most profound gold mineral vein, the family will reward you well. But Xuanzhen mineral vein is now our first-class secret royal family, you can't reveal it to outsiders, now it's not your business, you go back to Ping'an district to sit down. Dove's report. Yes, the child retreated. Vuong Changsheng agreed, turned around and wanted to leave. Wait a minute. Vuong Minbin called Vuong Truong Sinh again, got up and walked towards Vuong Truong Sinh. He took out the white rice bag from the storage bag, gave it to Vuong Changsheng, and said, this is the first order first rank Nok Tui Lin Mi, it's for helping your uncle raise your uncle from another ward town. Buy it, it's useful for you to practice, bring it up. Ping'an County's spiritual chi is light and thin, but it's not necessary to be lazy in cultivation, is it clear? Receiving the bag of rice, a strong warmth flowed through Vuong Changsheng's whole body, he nodded in agreement, the child understands, if he finds anything in the future, the child will immediately report it. It's good to be transparent. Everyone has their own thoughts, but our royal family can stand tall for hundreds of years without falling, except for Truc County monks sitting outside, the people of the clan will not be united. Indispensable, as each clan member only cares about their own interests, not looking at the interests of the family, our royal family has long been destroyed. Vuong Minbin is the center of the school that teaches the Tao. Parents teach, children keep in mind. Vuong Changsheng said with a serious face. Vuong Minbin nodded with satisfaction, patted Vuong Changsheng's shoulder, said, you best understand, remember, your surname is Vuong, you want to help your father, don't want to give him more trouble, be careful on the road. A little, yes, there are some tenders on the stove, you bring it up on the street to eat, your mother is inside, I will tell her. Vuong Changsheng spoke up, turned to leave. He brought up rations, took his mother to make new clothes, and headed down the mountain. At this time, the color of the sky was already bright, the clansmen went out one by one to live and start working compensate. Seeing Vuong Changsheng, the clansmen greeted him, and Vuong Changsheng replied with a smile. When Vuong Changsheng entered the Qinglian mountain, a white cloud fell from the sky and fell in front of him. The white clouds above stood there a young man with about 20 faces, round-face youth looked somewhat naive, his face was full of shine, his waist was fat. Narrow slot. Ah, ninth brother, when are you coming back? The round-faced youth saw Vuong Changsheng and said happily. Vuong Changsheng smiled and said, I rushed back last night with my orders, now I want to return to Ping'an County, third brother, don't you need to do anything today? The man with a round face called the King Trong Tin, the son of Vuong Changsheng, the fourth uncle, and ranked third in the middle letter, Trong. Vuong Truong Tin is Nulin root, this year is 22 years old, 2 months older than Vuong Truong Ca. His qualifications are also not good. He has cultivated for many years. So far, it is only a 3-stage qi refining, and he has been working for a long time. After Vuong Truong Sinh was tested for his 5 spirit roots, he refused to accept his life, and his cultivation was very austere, but the effect was too small. With the same generation of clansmen under the auxiliary mascot, any 10 years old can cultivate to the 2nd level of refining. Vuong Chengxing still stays at the 1st level of refining. At the age of 15 that year, at the same age as the clansmen, most of them had cultivated to the 4th level of refining, and Vuong Chengxing had reluctantly reached the 2nd level of refining. Since then, Vuong Truong Sinh has also been open-minded. Cultivating his mind has also faded, putting his thoughts on eating and drinking. The family's entry is not enough, and his qualifications are very poor. Of course, he will not generously provide him with the mascot. He has to put his goal in the world of the beauty world. Vuong Truong Sinh took the identity of a cultivator, and from the secular clansmen, there were 10 talented chefs who specialized in cooking for him, and after a year did not come, Vuong Truong Sinh's weight doubled. Stop. Although Vuong Chengxing is very fat, this does not affect his work. He opened Ling Valley Road in the royal family to be in charge of a minor prostitute, in charge of selling Ling Valley. Like Vuong Chengxing, this type of talent is inferior to male clansmen, usually handling the bottom-level work. At certain age, they will settle down in the family, get married and have children, for the family's sake. New blood increase. Vuong Truong Sinh also does not reject this type of well-arranged fate. On the contrary, he enjoys it very much. After all, he is ungrateful. It is not as good as living a life of freedom, every day setting a time to go to Lin Kok Road to work. Set a time to return to Thanh Lien Mountain. If you want to eat, you will eat. If you want to sleep, you will sleep. As long as you do not violate the rules of the clan, the old group will not take care of him. Vuong Truong Sinh often joked with Vuong Truong Sinh when he was a child, and the relationship was relatively good. I take turns taking a break today. Can I stay at Thanh Mountain for a month? Time is in a hurry. Come and drink 2 cups over there. Vuong Truong Sinh enthusiastically invited the religion. Next time. I still want to run back to Binan district. Vuong Truong Sinh gracefully refused. Vuong Chengxing did not pay too much attention. He was originally a polite guest, chatted for 2 sentences, he broke up with Vuong Chengxing and went to the mountain. Vuong Truong Sinh returned to Binan district at the time, it was past noon. He did not immediately return to Lotus Island, but instead went to Qingxi town to quarry. The quarry was covered by a large patch of thick white, so the situation inside was not clear. Vuong Chengxing leaned slightly near the quarry. A figure popped out from the white in the dense fog. It was Vuong Chang. 9 brother, why didn't you return to Thanh Lien Mountain so quickly? But what does Uncle Third have to say? Vuong Chang saw Vuong Chengxing, slightly surprised. No, I'm Ping'an in the Tianxi district, returning to guard the Binan district, 2 brother, and set up a formation. Wouldn't it be easier to attract other people's attention? Vuong Chengxing pointed to the thick white color and asked curiously. Vuong Chang smiled and explained. This is the meaning of the 5th uncle. We want to stay here for a few years, and secretly mine with him. It's better to freely present a mining formation. Otherwise, according to the situation below, who will come and cause trouble with us? Also, this place displays a defensive formation. As long as it's not the Truc County monk taking action, the monk chi refining period is impossible to fight. Take this place down. Vuong Cheng is full of confidence. In addition to a set of 1st grade upper grade and a set of 1st grade middle grade formation law, there are more than 40 names of monastic refiners. Only the elder clan 8th grade artifact refiners have 3 names or many. Chi refining period monks absolutely cannot go. This place can be said to be as solid as a bronze city. Even if it is really attacked by a monk in the truck company, you can also use 2nd grade low grade 100 miles of sound transmission. Hospital edema. With a fast-footed monk in truck company, he can catch up without even using an hour. That's good. Is there anything I need help with? If not, I will return to Lotus Island. I'll take you to see the 5 uncles. See how the 5 uncles are deployed. Vuong Cheng took out a square token, flashed a white mist behind his back, a white light flew out from the token, flashed and disappeared into the white fog. Dense. The thick white mist whirled around for a while, and a passage appeared. Vuong Chengxing followed Vuong Cheng to enter. Dozens of famous people surrounded Xuanzhen mineral vein, holding a national mine in their hands. They raised the national mine high, fiercely. Vigorously pounding on the golden light on the cliff, there was a sound of metal clashing. One block, one opened golden light mineral stone not far away displaying a tea table and an armchair. Vuong Kin is sitting on an armchair, holding a book in his hand, looking at it with a delicious look. Heel. Fifth uncle, Judy is back. Wang Yaojing dropped his hand on the book, suspiciously said, Changsheng, how did you come back so quickly? Did Min Bin let you tell me? Wang Changsheng shook his head and said, No, my father let me go back. I told him about the past. He let me return to Ping'an County to sit down. What advice did the 5 uncles give me? If not, I will return to Lotus Island. This kid Ming Yuan, I'll send you back so quickly. Wang Yaojing frowned. He originally thought that Vuong Min Bin would let Vuong Truong Sinh stay in Thanh Lien Mountain for a few days, but he did not expect that Vuong Min Bin would send Wang Changsheng back so quickly. From a person's perspective, he felt that Vuong Min Bin was somewhat incompatible with his lover, but from the general point of view, Vuong Min Bin worked fairly and did not leave Vuong Truong Sinh to stay for a few more days or nights. Immediately sent Vuong Truong Sinh back to Binan district. Vuong Kin thought for a moment and said, Okay, since Min Bin let you return to Binan district, then you should return to Linhua Island. I have not sent people to Linhua Island, if there is a problem. If you can't solve it, you can come here to find me, and the clansmen can use pigeons to send messages. Sunner obeyed. Sunner retired. Vuong Truong Sinh repeatedly responded, rushed Vuong Kin to take the ceremony, turned to leave. Vuong Truong Sinh returned to Ton Thatch Town, brought Vuong Tu Sinh back to Linhua Island. Time returned to its original form, practicing magic during the day, and practicing at night. Except for that, he memorized the contents of weak qi refining. This is not only his mother's advice, but also his future. The first court can exploit 3 or 4 years of Xuanzhen mineral veins. The royal family will definitely be able to overcome the immediate difficulties. Vuong Nguyen Quang's ancestor was a second-grade middle-grade air purifier. Later on in Vuong Nguyen Quang, the number of first-grade high-grade air purifiers was clearly counted, but later the family passed more and more difficult. At this time it is not possible to train a refiner again. It can be guessed that, after the Wang family overcomes the immediate difficulties, under the full financial situation, will definitely train their own artisan master, restore the glory of their ancestors. When that time comes, it is Wang Changsheng opportunity. If it is the royal family who wants to train an air refining master, he has a great chance of becoming an object of the family. After all, Lu Qing Nhi from the minor level of Wang Changsheng collected the knowledge of qi refining. At that time Wang Changsheng paid. I don't understand. I feel that my mother is making up stories. Even maintaining daily cultivation is a problem. Learning qi refining knowledge is a waste of time. Now it seems that Wang Changsheng can't help but feel guilty. Dressed up as a far-sighted model. When learning and cultivating knowledge, the old clan simply introduced some basic principles of qi refining, and more imparted cultivation techniques. After all, this is the main source of income for the family. Without the slightest bit of politeness, Wang family, Chong, has the middle letter inside, and Wang Changsheng's knowledge of qi refining is very solid. 7 days, very quickly passed. Thanh Lien Mountain, a building that is spacious and elegant. The sign above is engraved with Thanh Lien Lao, in 3 big yellow letters. In the spacious hall, in the middle of the host, there are 2 large flower-carved chairs. In the 2 flower-carved chairs below the position, on the left and right there are a series of chairs. The chair behind are all sculpted with a lotus color. The 6 old royal family members sat on either side of the high chair. They were all meow in the middle of the old clan. They had retired from their positions behind the curtain, usually in charge of teaching juniors or taking care of their juniors. The Zutang family rarely interferes with the clan affairs, but the family has a big move, and Wang Mingyuan will negotiate with them. Brother Luke, what happened? The last time Mingyuan brought us together, he let the young people of the clan work 2 years early, won't come back before the deadline. The 16-year-old clan's cultivation base is low. I don't understand a lot of things. If I let the people of 16 or younger go out to work, that would be even worse. An old man wearing a blue robe opened his mouth to speak. The old man looked thin, had a goatee, and had a few deep wrinkles on his forehead. The old man called Vuong Hang, in the middle letter, Mu, ranked 8th, 62 years old this year. Vuong Hang is a 4-spirit root, has cultivated for many years, is nothing but a 5-stage refiner, is teaching in a lecture hall, and is in charge of transmitting knowledge of the foundations of spiritual cultivation. Definitely won't go. Ming Yuan can't think of this point, and the family doesn't have a new source of income in the immediate future, can't use so many human hands. The Chong part of the word Chong, initiating the clansmen to go to work early is enough to deal with the situation in front of them. An old man with a stooped back shook his head. The old man called Vuong Truong, in the middle letter, U, ranked 6th, this year is 63 years old. Vuong Truong is the 5-spirit root, only has 3 levels of qi refining, is proficient in the 5 elements magic, in charge of teaching his juniors to cultivate. Min Bean is also real, summoning us again. I didn't show up, I still want to go back and see my grandson. But there's not much time to waste. A gentle-faced old man in a white robe furrowed his brows and complained. The old man in a white robe called Vuong Truong, in the middle letter, Mu, ranked 12th, 50 years old this year. Vuong Truong is the 4-spirit root, has cultivated for many years, but is no more than the 4th level qi refining, the technique of cultivating cultivation. 20th younger brother, where are you going? Isn't it always from her to take care of her grandson? Vuong Truong said suspiciously. This year, the Lin Tang tree grows well, can cut off a lot of Lin Tang deep. The female family member is too busy, she has to be busy, taking care of her grandson, the responsibility is entrusted to my head, Trong Gun and Trong Long. These 2 rotten brats are running around everywhere, that is, they refuse to stay honest, causing me harm to follow them behind my butt. My old bones are all about to fall apart, it's hard. Just let them sleep. Wang Miaochen complained in his mouth, but when it came to his nephew, his face was full of happiness. His personality is not good, he is older again, the greatest joy is that no one can pass on candy to play with you. Wang Yaotong waved his hand and said, okay, 12th brother, don't grumble, there must be something very important, only Ming Yuan can call us. If you are worried that no one will get a visa Chengjing and Chonglong, I'll let you Lu Shu go over and see, but your rotten legs are not good, there's no problem with the 2-3-year-old child visa. No need, Brother Lu, I just told them to lie down, without an hour, they need to wake up. Vuong Truong gracefully refused. Chong Jing and Trong Long are still young, no one in the family can't see it, they have the spiritual root, they are the future family, don't use it, Brother Lu, you still have to let Luke go to see it. Everyone is also good peace of mind. Vuong Truong suggested. The 8 brothers are right, I have this, no need, I let my uncle pass the Trong Gun and Trong Long visas. Wang Mingyuan's voice suddenly sounded. As soon as he finished speaking, Vuong Minbin followed an old man who was tall and thin in a yellow robe. The old man in yellow robe is the only royal family Truc County monk. Vuong Truong rarely shows up on weekdays. Second brother, why are you here? Seeing Vuong Truong waited for people to stand up. Ming Yuan has something important to announce, let me testify. Wang Yaozong went to the chairperson and sat down. Vuong Minbin walked to Vuong Truong's side, he rushed to Vuong Truong to wait for someone to smile, and said with a serious face, Uncle Luke, Uncle 8, tell you a good news, while we control Ping'an County scene. Inside, I discovered a small model of Xuanjin mineral vein. Hearing this, Vuong Truong waited for the person in his heart to be startled and ecstatic. What? Mysterious gold mineral veins? Really? Min Bean, how big is Huyan Kim mineral vein? How many years can it be mined? Ming Yuan, quickly send someone to occupy that Xuanjin mineral vein. Vuong Truong smiled lightly and said, okay, don't be hasty, let Min Bean slowly make it clear. 5 brothers and 9 brothers took people over to guard. Min Bean, you give everyone a strict precept. Tell me a little about the situation of Xuanjin mineral vein. Yes, second uncle. Vuong Minbin nodded. A few days ago, Binan town of Ton Thatch town appeared. Quang Ti, Trong Sin was in charge of defending Binan district, learned that Ton Thatch town had a hidden corpse, he immediately led people to run. After listening to Vuong Minbin's autobiography, Vuong Truong silently nodded and asked, Minbin, how much or less Zon Kim mineral vein can you mine every day? Can you practice more or less Huyan Kim? How long can you mine it? In the immediate future, you can mine 3,000 pounds of Xuanjin ore, 100 pounds of Xuanjin or 2 can refine 1 or 2, and 1 day can produce 30 pounds of Xuanjin, according to Tan. According to Lin, he can mine for 3 or 4 years, then return to the mysterious metal minerals and store them in the storage room, after refining them, take out more and sell them. That's great, ancestors bless, with this mysterious golden mineral vein, our time will be over. Chengsheng this time established a great merit, we must reward him well. Vuong Truong's expression was somewhat agitated. Ming Yuan, you call us a few old guys, not just tell us this news. Wang Yaoang said sternly. Wang Mingyuan breathed a sigh of relief, his face condoned, and said solemnly, this Xuanjin mineral vein can let us kings overcome the obstacles in front of us, sitting uncle knows that we are Wang. The most direct family relies on the trade of Lin Co and silk to live. The income is very little. The whole clan has more than 100 cultivators and immortals. Each spender adds up to a large amount of money, directly relying on in the previous life. People saved up for wealth. This is why they reluctantly rode against the shipping family. There is a very good saying, giving fish to people is not as good as teaching people to catch fish. Huyan Kim mineral vein has a time to dig hollow. I plan to choose 2 clansmen from the inner clan. Conduct training. Hope to be able to train our own artifact refiners. I don't know what is the opinion of the uncle sitting here. Training Qi refining master. Good. Our ancestor Vuong Truong is a second-grade middle-grade Qi refining master, leaving more than 10 levels of Qi refining chart spectrum. If not, we don't have enough resources to support them. We have already cultivated a first-rank refiner. With the support of mysterious gold minerals, we must definitely cultivate an air refiner to restore the glory of our ancestors. The first time Bong Duhang agreed, his expression was somewhat excited. That's right. The court, the mountain, only relies on farming. It is difficult to maintain the family's transportation. Must have a new source of income. Qi refining is our ancestors' old profession. I have a certain basis. I agree. I also agree. But 2 people are too few. Expand to 5 people. Wang Mingyuan's eyebrows furrowed slightly, and he said with some difficulty, 5 people. The cost of 2 people's training is also a lot, let alone 5 people. What I mean is, from the inner clan, we select 5 people who have the clan's talent for refining for a period of time, then conduct the assessment, and select the 2 people with the best performance from within to practice. Nurture. If you only select 2 clansmen who are directly trained to become air purifiers, it is not necessarily possible to dig out the best new people once. Secondly, the talent for this kind of thing, it is difficult to say. The clan in the past, the grandfather directly selected 2 clansmen as the training of the alchemist. Wasn't it a failure? Brother Lu is right. It takes a lot of spiritual stone to train an item refiner. It can't be compared with a little talent to smash a lot of spirit stones on them. Talk with the truth, through the survey. Core. Leaving the 2 most outstanding clansmen, conducting training, then everyone will be obedient to the mouth. After all, this kind of talent refining is very difficult to judge. Can't even look at a few books of refining Qi Dianzi, learn by heart a bit of theoretical knowledge base, then judge that he has a talent for refining Qi. Second brother, what do you mean? Hearing this, the others looked at Wang Yaozong. Wang Yaozong thought about it and said, the 6th brother is right. This suggestion is not wrong. Then everyone will be well-mannered. If it is to directly choose 2 clansmen as a training teacher, if they are unable to become item refining masters, other clansmen will inevitably say idle talk. After all, refiners' talent for this kind of thing is very difficult to judge. Not very fair. Talk about the facts. Only to be able to restore them. Wang Mingyuan nodded and said, since the second uncle has spoken, then select 5 clansmen to train for a period of time. From the 5 people choose 2 to be the training of the alchemist. The uncles can or not nominate candidates. Just finished speaking, a somewhat rough voice suddenly sounded. I recommend Wang Changsheng. An old man in a blue robe came over. An old man in blue robes with a rosy face, white beard and white hair, a pair of tiger eyes, not angry and proud. It was not easy to deceive people. If you look carefully, you can see that the old man in blue robes has a similarity with Vuong Minbin. The old man in blue shirt is Vuong Minbin's father, Vuong Dutu's father, and Vuong Truong Sin's grandfather. Vuong Dutu is 75 years old this year. Tam Lin Root, Qi refining 7 floors, in charge of contacting with other forces, such as the royal family's relationship with the family through a long life. Vuong Dutu received an invitation card immediately. Will lead people to congratulate. Father, how did you come back so quickly? Don't you want to go out to meet your friends? Vuong Minbin's eyes showed a few parts of surprise and doubt. Wang Yaozu raised his beard and glared, angrily said, if it wasn't for my uncle to tell me the news, I would really have been deceived by you to go to visit a good friend. You can invite second brother as well, organize like this. If you don't come back, I'm afraid that Chengsheng won't be able to pass the exam. Looking at you, the recruitment is recommended by the uncles, not from me. Vuong Minbin is somewhat hesitant. Wang Yaozu told Wang Mingyuan for a moment, I am your father, also the old Wang clan, I have the right to speak up. Of course there is, but in the end the decision is in the hands of the uncles. I knew that you would say this. Second brother, Luke brother, and eighth da, there is a very good saying that you should raise sage and not avoid yourself. Truong Sinh is my biological grandson, not fake, Baton Nhi used to live in Two-Way Ward Town. Shen Bin has been a practitioner for 10 years. Since he was a child, he has acquired a great deal of knowledge about Sin Nhi. If only looking at theoretical knowledge, I want to be able to understand much more with the spiritual people than Sin Nhi, this point. On the other hand, Sin Nhi was kept in Bin and district for 3 years, under the predestined chance to discover Zon Kim mineral vein, give him a chance not to overdo it. The core shows normal performance. Naturally, there is no need to train him to be an item refiner. On the contrary, it should be focused on training. What do you say? Wang Yaozu slowly said. Father, Shunger discovered that Zon Kim mineral vein was established as a great public servant. The clan will definitely reward him well. Don't give him the first rank. This is very difficult to yield to people's hearts and words. Vuong Minbin's face showed an awkward expression. Liang Sage does not avoid body. It is right for you to work fairly, but if you want to handle things fairly, like Sin Nhi is not your child, he cannot be selected. After 10 years as a chi refining student, it is necessary to get to know some people. If Sin Nhi becomes an alchemist, in the future, when we and then Bin buy materials for refining, we have Tan Nhi to help answer the request. Match can also enjoy a little privilege. Life and child refining has solid knowledge. He can't be elected. Why else can he be elected? Can you give me a reasonable reason? This, Vuong Minbin was speechless and looked at Wang Yaozong. Wang Yaozong thought for a moment, then said, after all, there are 5 quotas, there is still a second round of assessment, then it is considered that longevity is first. There are 4 remaining quotas, add 1, the selected bachelor must be the Thanh Lien root. The Wei Ling root is difficult to cultivate, even if it is fostered to become a first-class chi refiner, the cultivation level can't keep up. The chi refining level is not good. On the other hand, even those who are proficient in other industries can't be recruited. The age group must be 18 years old or older, 50 years old or younger. First select the 10 that fit these clan conditions, and then he chose 4 relatively good people. Yes, immediately summoned Chengsheng and sent someone to take his place. Yes, second uncle, wait for me to give Shenger a message. Let him hurry back. We will first take out 10 people from the clan. After nearly half an hour of discussion, they finally selected 10 clansmen. After the meeting ended, Vuong Minbin and Vuong Duta went to the study room. Luton Nhi had already prepared a good breakfast with water, waiting for a long time. Father, how are you? Is the student admitted? Luton Nhi couldn't wait to ask, her beautiful eyes filled with anticipation. If I don't know, I'm dreaming. Minbin, do you need to give me an explanation? B sub. Good and bad as the old man of the Wang family, why do you want to organize a clan meeting? Wang Yaozu asked with a frown. Wang Mingyuan smiled bitterly and explained. Father, I am afraid that you will recommend Changsheng, so I will send you away at this time. I do not want to let people talk. Vuong Dutu's eyes widened and he did not politely reprimand. Non-talk. What good is this? There are 5 ranks. Sin Nhi is only occupying the most quota. Huyan Kim mineral vein is him. Discovered. Sin Nhi occupying the first position is too much. Is it natural that other people are recruited? Lifting Sage does not avoid body. You let Sin Nhi go to Bin and district to take charge of Thien Master. I can talk about it. Giving up on Sin Nhi as your identity as a son and daughter. If your clan chooses a clan person to train an artifact master, Sin Nhi will definitely be elected. Luton Nhi nodded and said, that's right, from the beginning of Sinner's diary, I will let him study the knowledge of chi refining every day, not for this one day. But the clan can agree. The time to train 5 air purifiers. It's not a small amount to train 1 air purifier at the same time, let alone train 5 refiners at the same time. Of course, it is not possible to train 5 alchemists at the same time. First select 10 clansmen, select 5 to train for a period of time, then conduct an assessment, leaving the best 2. The key person to train. Vuong Minbin explained. Luton Nhi immediately beamed with joy and urged. Since Sin Nhi has been selected, quickly summon him. Second uncle has ordered. This time suits you. What do you say? This is the decision of the clan. The wife has to go out for a while. I also remind you, it is possible to have strict requirements for each other, but you want to handle things fairly and treat each other fairly. The same, you are too concerned about other people's idle talk. Rumors stop at intellectuals. Before you were hired by the owner of the house, Luke brother and others grumbled on their own. This makes them satisfied with their words. Sinner is the same. If he passes the test and can train to become an item refiner, other people won't talk nonsense. Vuong Duta meant to remind him of the depth of field. Father's right. As long as Sin Nhi can become an artisan master, other talented people won't talk idle. You still need to quickly summon Sin Nhi. I want to learn things from Shen Bin. Things to teach him. I hope he can become an artifact refiner. Lu Tan Nhi is a little excited. Vuong Minbin smiled bitterly and agreed in a row. I immediately wrote a letter and let Shunger return immediately. Bin and District, Linhua Island. The afternoon sun fell to the west, and in the afternoon, Linhua Island was covered with a golden yellow robe. Vuong Truong Sinh was sitting inside the stone house, holding the wheat chi refining in his hand, looking intoxicated. He now has memorized the knowledge of the base of chi refining and several hundred kinds of special first-rank refining materials. As long as he has a chi refining furnace, refining material, and a universal spirit tool, he can taste it. Gas. Ninth uncle, the clan has reported. Wang Chusheng walked over quickly, holding a letter in his hand. On the letter there was only one line of words. Quickly return to Thanh Lien Son, father of Vuong Minbin. Quickly return to Thanh Lien Mountain. What happened to the inner clan? How is it such a hurry? Wang Chengsheng frowned. A hint of doubt appeared in his eyes. It hasn't been half a month since he returned to Lotus Island, so he summoned him so quickly. This is not like his father's style. Chu Sheng, are you sure that you are the messenger of the clan? Wang Chengsheng asked solemnly. That's right. The inner clan using a messenger pigeon is not the same as an ordinary messenger pigeon, it is the inner clan sending a messenger. Having received an affirmative answer from Wang Chusheng, Wang Chengsheng's heart was a little overjoyed. You guys take a look at Lianhua Island. I want to go back to Qinglian Mountain. There is something important that can't be solved. I will report it to the clan. Wang Chengsheng gave an admonition, took back the wheat chi refining. His lips moved a few times, a white empty cloud emerged, lifted him up a little, and flew towards the sky. Go. When Vuong Truong Sinh returned to Thanh Lien Mountain, the sky was completely dark. He went to his father's office to handle the family affairs, and Wang Mingyuan was reading the book right away. Father, the baby is back. Wang Mingyuan put his hand on the top of the book and asked, do you know why your father told you to go back? The child doesn't know, please clarify. It's such a thing. Xuanjin mineral vein has been dug for a day, after I discussed with the elders of the clans, planning to choose 5 clansmen from the inner clan for training. These 5 clansmen only, it is a preliminary true selection, training for a period of time to participate in the assessment. The best 2 are considered as the training of an alchemist. You are only a preliminary selection. Can you become a key family? Cultivate an item refiner. Just look at your performance. You have to study hard and try to become an item refiner. The future family will be in your younger generation, you know that. Vuong Minbin's central language taught. Wang Chengsheng immediately rejoiced, and replied in a loud voice. The child understands, the child will definitely work hard. If he can become an artisan master, he will not need to develop cultivation resources in the future. Even if his father didn't say anything, Wang Chengsheng would try his best. He is also practicing the bamboo art, which can give Wang Chengsheng a bit of guidance. Wang Chengsheng thought about it and said, the 5th layer speech is a bit difficult to understand, the child relies on it. According to the mantra of cultivation, there are some that are not natural. Unnatural. Describe it carefully. Wang Mingyuan frowned and said, when guiding the body's spiritual qi, like. After listening to Wang Chengsheng's autobiography, Wang Mingyuan pondered for a moment and said, Lianhua Island's spiritual energy is barren. It's normal for your cultivation to be unnatural, but you also want to be vigilant and drain it. Go to the museum and read through the ancestors who practiced the bamboo determination, and enjoy it. You need to have some help. Yes, the child knows. At this time, Lu Tan Nhi came over and said with a smile, what did you 2 say? Nong, father is at the command. I cultivate. Lu Tan Nhi beamed with joy and said, there's no rush in cultivation, I'll make a good meal. The 2 of you quickly go to the kitchen to eat. The food is cold and it won't taste good. Walking into the kitchen, Wang Chengsheng saw a large table of food, fragrant, and couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. 4 dishes and a bowl of soup, purple bamboo shoots, egg, flour soup, stir-fried meat, mulberry leaves. Omelette, mixed vegetables with bamboo shoots, steamed white lentil fish. Just the 3 of us, how can we make so many dishes? Food that is left out for a long time will also become pale. Wang Mingyuan frowned, who told you there are only 3 of us? I also call Trong Toyat and Trong Bu, they usually don't lack to help me, especially Trong Toyat, every year, they help me give Sin Nhi gifts. I had long thought to invite her to eat a meal of vegetables and melon. I have informed them, I believe they will come here soon. As soon as Lu Qinger's voice fell, Wang Chengshui's voice came from outside. Third Shen, I and 7 sisters came to eat. Chong Toyat, Trong Bu, hurry in, they are all family members, no need to be polite. Lu Tan Nhi quickly walked out and brought Wang Chengshui and Wang Chengyu in. Third judge, you did so much. The food is delicious, this time there is a meal, I bring 2 lin yam, when cooked, you can eat it. Vuong Truong Toyat took out 2 large balls about the size of a taro fist. Third uncle, 7. Brother, this is what I used to create Ton Ban Nook, which is produced by the first-class low-grade spirit valley of Ton Ban, you shouldn't hate it. Vuong Truong Bu took out the most beautiful wine gourd and placed it on the table. You 2 girls, come and come. Bring anything, it's not an outsider. Lu Tan Nhi used a kind of blaming tone to say. If you have a lot of ceremonies, you can't be blamed. 3 judges, you make so much delicious food, we don't dare to come empty-handed. Vuong Truong Toyat laughed and said. You guys eat first, I'll wash the lin sweet potato, put it on the stove, and cook it quickly. Lu Tan Nhi took 2 taro balls, walked towards the stove, and Wang Chengsheng hurriedly greeted the 2 sisters and sat down. Trong Toyat, Trong Bu, are family members, don't be polite, move your chopsticks. Vuong Min Bin said with a gentle face, took the spoon to give Wang Chengshui and Wang Chengyu a good soup. Vuong Truong Toyat and Vuong Truong Bu thanked each other and took a sip. It's still Tam Shen who makes easy to drink soup, but my mother can't make soup so well. Vuong Truong Toyat smiled sweetly and praised. You little girl, your mouth is together to wipe the honey, you are good at planting, and you make delicious food with one hand, whoever marries you, whoever will be truly blessed. Lu Tan Nhi said teasingly. She washed Lin's sweet potatoes, put them in the upper pot, went to sit down. Wang Chengshui's face rose red, and he lowered his head to eat soup. Third uncle, why did 9 brothers come back, is he not in the town of Ping'an County? Vuong Truong Bu casually asked. The inner clan plans to train himself as a chi refiner. Sin Nhi was selected, returned to study chi refining, starting from his diary, I will let him acquire the knowledge of chi refining, I hope he can try his best. Study hard and become an alchemist. Lu Tan Nhi smiled and explained. Wang Chengshui heard this, nodded and said, that's right. I remember when I was a kid, after coming back from the lecture hall, we could all eat, and the 9 brothers still wanted to recite chi refining by heart. Knowledge, memorized a new material to be able to eat. Once he was lazy, after leaving the lecture hall, he went directly to my house to hide, later it was still the 3rd Shen who led the bamboo branch. Entering my house, the 9 brothers obediently returned. I heard that the time when the 9 brothers was beaten by the 3rd judge, he didn't dare to sit for half a month, he was standing in the lecture hall listening to the lecture. Vuong Truong Bu opened his mouth to laugh. Wang Chengsheng listened to the 2 sisters, his face was slightly red, he smiled shyly, and explained. When I was a child, I did not understand things, anyone who did not do stupid things when he was a child, I remember that the second half of the night came to 7. Uncle picked peaches, accidentally fell from the tree, there was also 7 sister, craving to eat honey, it was not morning yet went to the spiritual funeral garden to steal lin honey, and was stung by the red wings of the bee. Well, because my mother found out in time, the red-winged spirit stopped at this time, and after a month, it was impossible to see the 7 sisters in the lecture hall. Talking about the past, Wang Chengshui and Wang Chengyu were also a little embarrassed. When they were young, they talked about interesting things. Vuong Truong Toyat and Vuong Truong Bu did not have such formalities. While eating, they chatted while talking and laughing, the atmosphere was harmonious. It didn't take long. Lin's sweet potatoes were good. Lu Tan Nhi brought Lin's sweet potatoes to cut into small cubes and put them on the table. Lin yam is purple-red, sprinkled with a little salt on top. Vuong Truong Sinh picked up a block of Lin's sweet potato, put it in his mouth, and Lin's sweet potato melted in his mouth. His mouth was full of incense, and after that, a small part of the spiritual chi in the abdomen rose. Second sister, this Lin sweet potato is so fragrant. Is it your type? Wang Chengsheng praised a sentence, casually asked a question. I dig a small piece of lingtian in front of the door, plant some lin yam and lin bean, take it out to raise Toyat Ban millet. Toyat Ban millet doesn't eat enough, it won't lay eggs, I guess again. Nurturing the female for 10 years, it will be able to progress to the 1st grade upper grade, then it will lay many eggs. The spirit Dan will also contain more spiritual chi. Yes, 9 brother, you can cultivate the most in the yard. The Lin Dean block, a little bit of the 1st grade low grade Lin Du, raised Song Dong to try and help it progress. Tried dong dong. 9 brothers, when will you raise a twin dong to try? Last time with NHI's sister in the ward, I saw someone selling song dong to try, but the other party wanted more than 100 spirit stones. I and the second sister hooked the whole body of spirit stone and contributed less than 100 pieces of spirit stone. Vuong Truong Bu glared and asked curiously. A while ago, there were ghosts in Vuong Gia town. I went to Vuong Gia town to destroy ghosts. On the way back, fortunately encountered in the depths of the mountain, by the way found the most in the mountains. Block too large and small spiritual vein. Listen to secular clan people say, this rat is a trial medicine. It is estimated that it is a nest in the place of spiritual veins. After a while, unintentionally evolved to be a double dong try. Exclamation mark quote. Wang Chengsheng threw out the previous explanation. This explanation is also reasonable. 9 brother, have you received the owner? Wang Chengyu looked expectantly at Wang Chengsheng and asked. Get master. Vuong Truong Bu heard that. His face could not help but reveal a look of disappointment. Vuong Minbin comforted. Truong Bu, just one song dong to try. Another day I will let you da ba buy you a song dong to try in return, but your father is no longer there. Tam ba will really take care of you. Well, your mother and daughter, you are also an adult. I will let you Tam ba ma tell you a good thing about marriage, show off your face and take you away. Hearing this, Wang Chengyu's heart was warm, shook his head, and said seriously, Third uncle, thank you for your kindness. Don't bother to buy a twin tong. I'll buy it myself. I have thought carefully. I will not marry out. My grandfather is old. My mother's body is not good. I want to stay in the second elder with a filial person. I want to follow the 5 aunts for a lifetime to replace the family. Quote. Stupid girl. Sanba will take good care of them. You don't need to worry about them. Fifth sister caused injury because of love. This is the effect of staying in the family. You can rest assured, your third uncle must be your mother. I will speak for you as a pure person. I will never let you suffer grievances. I will swear a heavy oath in front of your father's grave. I will definitely take good care of you. I Vuong Minbin can do it. When Wang Mingyuan said this, his face became unusually serious. Lu Tan Nhi nodded and said, That's right. Truong Bu, your father is no longer there. You still have the great uncle, the second uncle, the third uncle and other uncles to take care of you. We will not let you accept the commission. Hidden. Vuong Truong Bu heard this. His heart was very touched. He did not say anything. 7th sister, I will remove the ban. Song Tong try to give it to you. I actually don't like to try nursing. Wang Chengsheng took Song Tong to try it out from his chest, and carried Song Tong with his hand to test the tail. Song Dong tried but didn't know that Vuong Truong Sinh wanted to give it to Vuong Truong Bu, struggled to avoid Vuong Truong Sinh's bondage, and rushed towards the food on the table. 9 brothers, I ask for your kind intentions. 7 sisters wants to accumulate spirit stones to buy. Yes, you don't even have a great spirit beast. I have an old spirit beast, but only a big one. Near the space staff, there's no problem with trying on a twin bronze. If you don't hate it, give it to you. Vuong Truong Bu gracefully refused, took out a yellow bag and gave it to Vuong Truong Sinh. The yellow color of the bag is gloomy, and the embroidered pattern on the bag is quickly invisible, obviously many years. No need. 7th sister, I don't need to go to the great spirit beast. Wang Chengsheng shook his head and gracefully refused. This great spirit beast is just a low-grade spirit tool, still old, not worth a few spirit stones, whether you want it or not, it's just looking down on 7 sisters. Vuong Truong Bu said with a face. 7th sister, I don't mean this. I, 2nd sister gave you the spirit birthday. You will take it. I will give you the big spirit beast. You don't need it. You still say it's not what you mean this quartet. Wang Mingyuan's eyebrows furrowed, nodded and said, If you 7 sisters gave it to you, you will collect it. In the future, if you catch a twin tong to try, don't forget to give it to you 7. Sister, there is also your 2nd sister. Get good things, don't forget the clan people. Wang Chengsheng made an agreement and received the great spirit beast. After nearly half an hour, this meal was also finished. Vuong Truong Toyat and Vuong Truong Bu stood up to say goodbye. Vuong Truong Sinh personally brought the 2 sisters to the family home. Children, you have just returned. Rest well. Tomorrow begins. I will teach you the knowledge of qi refining. Wang Chengsheng returned to his place of residence. First brought the great spirit beast to practice, granted the twin bronze to test 20 seeds of the spirit mi, and tried to get the double bronze to collect the great spirit beast. At dawn on the 2nd day, Vuong Truong Sinh used breakfast, immediately under the direction of Lu Tan Nhi, studying knowledge qi training. Lu Tan Nhi has worked as an apprentice for 10 years, although she will not practice qi, but theoretical knowledge is very rich. If I can become a family to train qi refiners, I don't need to be sad because of my cultivation resources. So Wang Chengbi is very sincere, and when he meets a problem he doesn't understand, he asks his mother, Lu Tan. Nhi knows what to say. 3 days later, Wang Chengsheng obeyed his mother's orders, and early in the morning he went to the first court of the quiet courtyard. There were 3 men and 1 woman in the courtyard, led by a handsome, white-dressed middle-aged woman. 5 aunts, 10 first uncles, 13 uncles, 8 brothers, soon. Wang Chengsheng saw the 4 of them and said hello honestly. 4 people based on their backgrounds, in order are Vuong Min Mai, Vuong Min Building, Brilliant Vuong Min, King of the Exchange. Vuong Min Mai is 40 years old this year, formerly because of love causing injury, life unmarried, single duty for family work, 7-layer gas refining. Vuong Min Building is 30 years old this year, refining the 6th floor, used to love to travel everywhere, and has extensive knowledge. The brilliant Vuong Min is 27 years old this year, 6th floor refining, can handle a few simple materials, such as refining minerals, crafting talismans. Wang Chengcheng is 22 years old this year, the only son of Wang Chengsheng Luke, who has worked for a few years, often accompanying the old clan to escort goods. Chengsheng, when will you come back? Can't you be sent to Binan district by your father to take over the Tian master? Are you the 5th candidate? Vuong Min Mai nodded and asked curiously. Listening to her language, it seems that he did not know that Wang Chengsheng was also accepted. Well, my father summoned me 3 days ago, saying that he would let me learn the art of qi refining with my heart. We were just guessing who the 5th person was. Didn't expect it to be you. Also, when you were very young, Tam Tao forced you to memorize knowledge refining, you should have passed the exam. Vuong Min Building said with a smile. Currently the situation within the clan is not easy to overcome. Why suddenly want to train an item refiner, but immediately there are 5, which will waste a lot of cultivation resources. Wang Ming frowned brightly and said, his eyes showed some doubts. I believe that the 3rd brother will not talk nonsense. He does it, there must be his reasons. Vuong Min Mai despised. This old man said it very well. A half-voiced middle air suddenly resounded. As soon as he finished speaking, an old man over 60 years old in a red robe came out from the courtyard. The old man in red robes had a white beard and white hair. His chin was rubbed with a goatee, almost an inch long, his face was rosy, his right arm was empty. Uncle 7, what is your old man? Vuong Min Mai said a little surprised. The red-robed old man named Wang Yishi, this year is 62 years old, ranked 7th in the same generation, was previously regarded as an alchemist's training, unfortunately, wasted a lot of materials. Refining qi, although he can refine spirit item, but can only refine low-grade spiritual item, but the probability of success is very low, the family is in financial difficulty, and has not continued to join. Fostering resources. More than 10 years have passed, and Wang Yaoshi has also become an old man in his 50s, who should have been able to play with his grandson with candy, was entrusted with responsibility by the family, taught his juniors, and took advantage of training himself an air refiner, thereby restoring his ancestors to glory. Wang Yuxi's sadness and joy are intertwined. The sad thing is, that year he wasted a lot of resources, couldn't become an artifact refiner, wasted a lot of spirit stones in the family. The joy is that the family still trusts him, teach the juniors this burden and hand it over to him. From the moment he started this quest, he was excited and restless. He would use the first to study qi refining, and then save all the qi refining he found he liked. One by one, when he was teaching his juniors, let them lose a bit of the winding road, save some spirit stones. The family must be able to cultivate their own artifact refiner and restore the glory of their ancestors. This is the common understanding of all the royal clans. You are a family selected from a large number of clansmen. The only purpose is to train you to become an artifact refiner. Wang Yaoshi's gaze swept over from Wang Chengsheng, the 5 people on his body, and said sternly. Wang Mingmei's brows slightly furrowed, and he said suspiciously, 7th uncle, training an item refiner to waste spirit stones is not a small amount. Considering the current state of the family, you can foster 5 years in one breath. The name of the artifact refiner. Was it me that heard wrong, or still you said it wrong? I didn't say anything wrong. You didn't hear me wrong. The family wants to train the artifact refiner, but not 5, but from among you, choose the 2 with the most talent. Training. From today on, you stay right here. Study with me to practice knowledge. Every day, the time of the rabbit begins to teach. The hour of the pig ends. I will give the whole school life. For you, the rice soup will be provided by experts. You just need to use your mind to study. You remember well. You study the art of refining and waste every single piece of spirit stone. They are all other clansmen. Using the blood and sweat of the sword, you want to cherish this opportunity. The family has great expectations for you. 5. Hearing this, Vuong Changsheng's 5 faces became dignified. Vuong Mingmai hesitated, asked, Uncle 7, you still haven't answered me. Where did the family get so many spirit stones? Unexpectedly, Changsheng in Binan district, Ton Thatch town discovered the most valuable Zon Kim mineral vein. Only now we have the resources to train artisan masters. This is a secret clan, not a side story. Good, I don't want to talk too much. You don't want to talk much. You come with me, I will start giving you a lecture. After Vuong Dutik finished speaking, he turned to go into the room. Vuong Minmai and the 5 hurriedly joined them. The great hall has 6 wooden tables and 6 chairs. Each wooden table has a brand new copy of the book. Wang Yaoshi walked to the front of a wooden table, sat down, and let Vuong Changsheng 5 people also sit down. This is the night I fine-tuned my favorite qi refining and knowledge refining. Let people copy a few parts. Turn to the first sheet. Qi refining and alchemy are not very different. Both need the universal qi refining chart. Both is to put the materials in order to throw them inside the furnace. The main difference is, alchemy is the most important part where the knitting stops. The most important step is to engrave spiritual patterns. Lin Van has. Vuong Dutik said that he broke the rules seriously. After telling the most content, he would let 5 people ask Vuong Mingmai questions, answer their doubts, and then begin to lecture. Content succession. The 5 Vuong Changsheng heard it very sincerely. They all cherished this difficult opportunity. Vuong Yaoshi first explained to them a basic principle of qi refining, then introduced them to knowledge refining, and also let them memorize qi refining knowledge. 2 months have passed, and the 5 of Vuong Changsheng have never left the courtyard, and no one has come to disturb them. The soup is from the expert bow and arrow. They study the knowledge of qi refining during the day, and practice at night, and the time is very rich. After 2 months of study, Vuong Changsheng and the 5 people have a certain understanding of the path of qi refining, and the knowledge of the qi refining foundation is like flowing backwards. At the time of the rat, it was dark and people were quiet. In the study room, Vuong Min Bean immediately told Vuong Dutik what to get. Min Bean, it's been so long, Min Tree hasn't come back yet. We both taught for 2 months of theoretical knowledge. We need to start practicing qi. The reasoning is solid, the practice is not too strict, it's not good. They have already memorized the knowledge base of qi refining. I want to teach them to refine qi. Vuong Yaoshi frowned tightly, urging him to speak. Uncle 7, you wait a moment. Big brother has been away for 2 months. Come back soon. You will teach another point. As long as big brother comes back, I will immediately send someone to send refining materials. Vuong Yaoshi sighed lightly, nodded and said, that's good. Before he finished speaking, a series of rapid footsteps resounded, followed by a burst of joyful voices. Third brother, I'm back. A handsome man came in. The great man was righteous, his face was a little bit bearded. Wang Mingyuan saw the big man, was overjoyed in his heart, and quickly asked, Big brother, you finally returned, did you have a good road? The great man is Vuong Min Bean, the elder brother of Vuong Min Tree, and his father, Vuong Truong Toyat. Vuong Min Tree is 50 years old this year, has a cultivation base of 8 layers of qi refining, has passed the best age of Truc Company, is in charge of escorting goods. This time, he brought 15 clansmen, escorted 200 pounds of Xuanjin to the big town, in exchange for first-order low-grade refining materials. Raise the ancestors' blessings, all is well. Third brother, according to your instructions, 8 spirit stones are used to purchase first-grade low-grade refining materials. This is what you want for refining materials and the rest of spirits. Jelly, the list of goods is also finished. Vuong Min Tree took out a sharp object from his chest and gave it to Vuong Min Bean. Vuong Min Bean received the storage bag. Divine consciousness swept over, overjoyed like crazy. That's great, Uncle 7, I'll make a book first. Tomorrow morning I'll bring the refining materials to you. The sky is so late, you should go home and rest. Vuong Yaoshi nodded and said, Okay, you don't need to cook too late. Try your best to go to bed early. Min Tree is also tired, go back and rest well. Uncle 7, I'm not tired, I have other matters to report to my third brother, you go back and rest first. After seeing off Wang Yaoshi, Wang Mingyuan gave Wang Mingji a cup of tea and asked without waiting, "Big brother, let me carefully tell you about the situation of your freight." Wang Mintree drank all the tea in the cup, profited from his throat, said, "We will leave Thanh Lien Mountain later on." At the end of the tiger hour, the sky was still not displayed. Wang Changsheng 5 people got out of bed on time. After washing their faces, they immediately began to have breakfast. Breakfast is very simple: a large tub of apple porridge, 10 large dumplings. Lin apple porridge is using first-grade low-grade Lin cock in processing. Lin apple only ripens in 2 years, which can be compared to first-grade middle-grade Lin cock, but the bit is using first-class lower Lin cock to make. Curtain there is not much lotus seed tea hidden in the spirit. A few apples floating in the upper porridge. Vuong Truong Sin's 5 people in the bowl are all flour porridge. "I'm full, you eat slowly." Chong Huan, Changsheng, the 2 of you eat the porridge clean. Don't allow it to be wasted. You guys give us breakfast early in the morning, can't have any wasted luck. Vuong Minmai put down the bowl of chopsticks and said with a serious face, "I've eaten enough. Changsheng, Changguan, leave it to you." Vuong Mindong also put the cup down on his chopsticks and ordered. Wang Ming brilliantly put down the bowl and chopsticks, took the 2 curtains and walked into the house. "You eat slowly, I review the content of what 7 uncle said yesterday." Wang Changsheng and Wang Changguan glanced at each other and could see the emotion in each other's eyes. Every time they eat, the 3 of them, Wang Mingmai, compare the leftover food with the spiritual energy to Wang Changsheng and Wang Changguan, saying that they are in the best cultivation age, must eat more spirit. Animals, a useful place for cultivation. Of course, Vuong Minmai 3 people will still eat full, will not be hungry. The seniors were so concerned that Wang Changsheng and Wang Changguan were very touched. When Wang Yaoshi gave the lecture, they listened to the rules seriously. Every day half an hour early, after breakfast, they reviewed yesterday's work. Learn. 9 brothers eat quickly. After eating, review what Uncle 7 said yesterday. Fine. 8 GE, let's go with half of us. After eating breakfast, Vuong Truong Sinh and Vuong Truong Hon went home to review yesterday's school work. Each person on the table had a piece of moonlight stone. They didn't say a word, they were holding a book, looking extremely serious. Not long after, Wang Yaoshi came over. Failure, lost finish. Vuong Minmai 5 people looked at Vuong Du Tik and opened their mouths to say hello. Wang Yaoshi nodded, smiled and said, "Teaching the 2 of you theoretical knowledge, you should also start refining qi." Wang Mingmei's eyes lit up, and he said happily, "Uncle 7, can we practice qi refining?" To be exact, it's for you to observe how your ancestors practiced qi refining, gather a little experience, and casually look at a few books of qi refining and practice qi refining. It's strange to be able to succeed. If you look at a few books of qi refining, you can become an item refiner. That item refiner has already been seen everywhere. Vuong Du Tik left hand once. A large block about the size of a silver round hand appeared in his hand. His right hand pressed the chanting of the law. A method of magic hit the silver round plate above. A group of dazzling silver giraffes immediately lit up, and the spirit lines of silver color suddenly appeared as they appeared. Stop. A silver light flew out from the top of the silver round plate, and after a while, it turned into a silver mirror with a large and small face, clearly visible. In the mirror there was a gentle face. The old man, in front of him, displayed the most beautiful and small Donglu staff, 3 meters high, with a round body, 4 legs and 2 ears, and a lotus flower on the outside. Reverse the table. A flash of surprise flashed in Wang Mingdong's eyes as he choked up. Reverse the table. Vuong Minmai and the 4 of them showed surprise expressions on their faces. The shadow table is a special object that can be recorded and replayed. The image table covers the contents of Wan Tuong, with the teaching of the Dharma, the practice of alchemy, the refining of weapons, the making of talismans, with a section of high-level monks sitting in front. We'll use the image of the table to record a piece of image. Who has a predestined person to explain his lineage? There is a part of alchemist because he does not break his lineage. We'll use the recollection of the table to record the process of alchemy, save for future generations to learn and practice. Stand for reference. The Monk Association records the process of fighting with the demon beast, saving it for posterity to learn. Except that, the shadow table also has many more uses, such as recording the demon beast's lair. The price is high. For high-ranking monks, chronicling a cult of manic and degenerate history. The processing of the shadow table is extremely complicated. A piece of the shadow table level spirit artifact is worth 3,000 pieces of spirit stone, which is comparable to a set of first-grade mid-range artifacts. The revival shadow level magic tool, which captures images, can emit a different image from an hour to half an hour, while the magic tool of the level of revival of the shadow table can emit an image of half an hour. While the FA at the level of the shadow table, it is said that one can record a sect of history and history, starting from the founding of the patriarchal sect, starting to talk about it, cultivating the Presbyterian sect will sit in front of it, will bring yourself a background to learn. The bibliography and the shadow table are saved for posterity's reference. The long history of the immortal cult contains a large number of the shadow tables, records of the predecessor's favorite cultivation and all kinds of mystical powers, which this is the interior. Relying only on a little bit of written records, there are certain difficulties in the cultivation of posterity. The written records are not particularly clear, far from being filmed to a vivid image, the inheritance cannot be relied on alone. In terms of text and images, it is also very important. I heard that the deep inside of the immortal sect is not only able to cultivate to the high stage, but also records the history of the great patriarch's cultivation. Table image. Relying only on the practice and the shadow table, the disciples of the great sects threw out a large number of disciples and disciples. The disciples of the great sect cultivate in the surplus of spirit vessels, and have the best cultivation techniques and other cultivation resources, and the more their predecessors are satisfied with their cultivation, each layer of the practice is carefully solved. They almost won't appear in the situation of running into a demon. The situation is relatively small. In this environment, the disciple of the great sect is comparable to the disciple of the sect or the disciple of the small clan. Are very high, even if they are not successful, they cannot compare with the cultivators or the disciples of the small clan. Without a deep background, no encounters, normal qualifications, gong practices, or a small clan of disciples who want to catch up with the great sect of disciples, it is extremely difficult. Wang Yaoshi nodded, somewhat arrogantly said, "That's right, it's the shadow table. This is the ancestor of our royal family that left behind the shadow table. Recording the refining method of the low-grade spirit Qi Qingyu knife is one of the most important inheritances in our royal family. You have to look closely, see how the ancestors are refining, remember each sequence clearly, and start refining again." Hearing this, the five Wang Chengsheng held their breaths and stared at the old man in a robe. Old man Vuong Nguyen Quang today intends to refine a low-grade spirit artifact Tan Wei Dao. Tan Wei Dao is an introductory artifact refiner. You have to learn a spiritual artifact. There are two types of materials, Zontai and Iron Sha. The first step, lighting the fire. Thanh Lien Mountain has no earth fire. Qi refining period monks want to refine gas, can use lin coal or spirit wood. We apply as the 35-part silver acupuncture type. This spirit wood is very fireproof. A small piece of silver angled wood can burn for an hour. As Wang Yuangong said, one side took out a square of silver square wood. He placed the wooden square on the bottom of the bronze bar, and raised a finger. Push. A small sound. A group of red flames appeared at the tip of his finger. The finger flicked. The flame shot out, fell on the square on the wood, burned up the wooden square. The wood burned fiercely, and very quickly, a large red flame surrounded the bottom of Dong Lu's color. After igniting the spirit wood, adding heat is not much different. Then you can use it to enter Zontai. A monk who has just learned alchemy may not know how much heat he wants to add, if he doesn't master it well. Fire Marquis. It is very easy to lead to Qi refining failure. Waste all spirit stones. There is a very convenient way to light a spirit wood fire. Stick a loaf of cake on the outside of the refining furnace, waiting for the noodles to turn into pies. Adding heat won't make much difference. Then you can start to enter Zontai. Zontai must have at least 2 pounds to be able to. After 30 breaths, you can take a box of 3 weights of iron sand and throw it into the Qi refining furnace. The 5 people Wang Chengsheng looked very sincere. The writing had a lot of unclear words, such as adding heat. Beginners didn't know how much heat they wanted to add. Wang Yuangong considered this point. Put a loaf of cake on top of the furnace. The noodles will turn yellow and add heat. If not only this adds heat, beginners also don't know how many times they want to fail. Except for that, there are other details. The writing is relatively vague. The picture can be seen very clearly. This is a good picture. After watching the whole process of Vuong Nguyen Quang, the 5 people on Vuong Truong Sin's face did not meet, but they showed a pensive look. Vuong Min Mai's eyelids slightly furrowed, pleading, 7 uncles, let's go again. The time when the ancestors were carving the spiritual texts was too fast, I can't see very clearly. Wang Yaoshi nodded and said, it's okay, this picture you all want to see for a few days. It's not so fast to start refining. A part of refining the material of the Qingyu knife, you need 15 pieces of spirit stone. That year, I was an urgent practitioner of Qi refining. Bye lost a lot of materials, the traces were broken, you have to see many times to get it. A new immortal practitioner learns chi refining, failed dozens of times. It's all normal, it's not strange to fail more than 100 times, bad luck, and fail more than 1,000 times. Wang Chengguan hesitated for a moment, cautiously asked. 7 uncles, refining the Qingyu knife, how many times did you fail that year? Hearing this, Vong Minmai, the 4 of them, looked at Vong Du Tik with curious eyes. Wang Yaoxi's face flushed red, hesitated for a moment, said, 48 times, each of you has 50 times the chance. If 50 pieces of material have not yet been refined, you will be eliminated directly. When you get out of the bureau, you should take a closer look at the ancestor of chi refining. If there's something you don't understand, dare to say it. Although I can't become a first-order chi refiner, but I can still refine it. Moonblade. 7 uncles, what is the standard for evaluating a first-order alchemist? Wang Chengsheng asked curiously. Although he remembers a large amount of knowledge of chi refining, it is still unclear about the division of chi refining masters. Chi refining master is divided into 1st grade to 9 grade, corresponding to the 9 immortal cultivation realm. Each level is divided into lower, middle, upper 3rd grade. Normally speaking, chi refining has a chance of succeeding at half or more. Only then can you call yourself an item refiner. If you can refine your spirit tool, then you'll be a 1st rank refiner. If you can refine a magical tool, then you'll be a 2nd rank refiner and 3rd rank. The artifact refiner can refine Dharma treasures, so it can be deduced, just like the standard alchemy master and the standard artifact refiner. Wang Ming brilliantly asked. 7th uncle, why couldn't you become a 1st rank refiner that year? What is the success rate of the chi refiner? Wang Yaoxi heard that. His face was somewhat gloomy. This matter is a pain in his heart forever. In the past, for his sake refining, the family bought a lot of refining materials, and spent thousands of spirit stones. The probability of his success in refining is still less than 4. City. Even in this way, the clansmen have never complained about him, but instead comforted him. The more the clan comforted Wang Yaoxi, the more Wang Yaoxi blamed himself. He always felt that he was invincible, wasting the family a lot of resources, leading to the family being more and more sleepy. Ethnic people can't help but go to work soon. Therefore, he did not receive a single piece of spirit stone in these years, saving the cultivation resources for the use of the youth of the clan, so that his heart was a little better. Wang Yaoxi took a deep breath and said with a serious face, that year, I wasted more than 100% of the materials. Although refining the Qingyu knife, the probability of success is less than 4 cities, the family's finances are difficult. Can only be treated like this. You don't have to shoulder the burden in your heart. Study hard, it's okay to fail, you can continue to work for the family. As soon as the words came out of his mouth, Wang Yaoxi had a hint of self-mockery in his heart. That year, the elder did not advise him like this, but the more the elder said that, the more pressure he put on him. The family put hope on him. The clan people wore less clothes and less clothes. Want to give him chi refining? How could he not have a burden in his heart? Okay, don't say these things to strangers. Continue to watch the ancestors refine. Wang Yaoxi hit a magic spell on the back of the shadow table. A silver light shot out, turning into a silver-colored mirror, and inside the mirror appeared the figure of Wang Yuanggong. Old man Bong Nguyen Quang, today intends to refine a low-grade spirit tool Tan Wei knife. Tan Wei knife is. You are listening to Stories at Audio Good Stories. Subscribe to the channel to support me. After 5 days, Wang Yaoxi will all use the image to review the process of ancestor refining. Wang Chengsheng 5 people seriously observe. After watching, they will raise a problem. Wang Yaoxi wants the answer to their question, can't answer it, looks at it again and again, observes it again and again, and discusses it over and over. In the next few days, Wang Chengsheng and the 5 of them deepened their understanding of chi refining, which was the good point of cultivating the immortal family. If you want to learn an industry, if you look at a few related books, you will buy refining materials, and the probability of success is extremely low. A little bit of monasticism entered the mountains to hunt and kill demonic beasts, brought up the life belt at the waist of his pants. It was hard to be a little concise, wanted to learn an industry, but it was too hard because there was no one to guide. Most of the end, it was a failure. After exhausting it all, it was hard to accumulate until it was accumulated. It was impossible not to once again go to the mountain to hunt and kill demonic beasts. This morning, early in the morning, after having breakfast, Wang Chengsheng and the 5 followed Wang Yaoxi to the front of the two-story high-rise, red-colored pavilion. The red-colored pavilion was in the most peaceful courtyard in the courtyard, and before that, Wang Chengsheng had never been there. Follow me. Today begins, you will stay here. Wang Yaoshi pushed open the door of the room and entered. The room is elegantly arranged, not stained with ceiling dust. Obviously, there are often cleaning people. The first floor has at least a dozen large and small. How many basements the two people are. The wall and stone are a kind of red thatch too. On the ground there are 3 shades of purple. Starting from today, you are here to refine the qi. Today each person has 3 materials. Take turns refining, and Ming Mei comes first. Wang Yaoshi said, patting the storage bag with his hand. A ray of clear light flew out from the inside, the tone of which is the closest to the staff, the color of Donglu, 3 meters high, the whole body is round, 4 feet tall. 2-eared feet, engraved with a lotus flower on the outside. Donglu's color is gloomy, obviously many years ago. In addition to the Donglu bar, there are also 3 documents, Huyan Thiet Sa, a jar of spiritual fluid, 3 large blocks about the size of a silver hand, 3 blocks of noodles, one of which is made of cast iron. This Qinglian peak is our ancestors' transmission to Ding Lu, a newcomer in the palace, the people of qi refining. Ming Mei, you go first. The other people look on the side, everyone. You don't even need to say a word. In order to avoid disturbing her qi refining, I will see Ming Mei refining all the way through. Vong Dutik pointed to Dong Lo's color and materials on the ground, and spoke in a deep voice. Because you have just started to learn qi refining, I made you here to practice qi here, observing each other. It is not enough to mark the other side. I do not expect you to be able to refine it today. Come out, you guys learn from each other. Hurry up to refine the spirit. Min Mai, start refining. Vong Min Mai took a deep breath and slowly walked to the front of Thanh Lien. Wang Chengsheng, the 4 of them held their breath, and stared at Vong Min Mai, afraid to miss something. Vong Min Mai did not immediately start refining, sat down on the sofa, closed his eyes and took care of his spirit. Wang Yaoshi silently nodded and said nothing more. Half an hour later, Vong Min Mai opened her eyes and began to refine qi. She took a block of silver acupuncture wood to the bottom of Thanh Lien, lit a fire, and conveniently glued a loaf of cake to the top of Thanh Lien above. As time passed, the squeezed noodles also slowly turned from white to yellow, causing a burning aura to fly into Vong Min Mai's nose. Then she hit the top of Thanh Lien with a magic spell. The outer surface of Qinglian's top of the lotus flower immediately lit up, and with a deep sound, the top cap automatically flew up and fell to the ground. She threw Huyan Thiet into the ding lot. Her sleeve burst into the top of a book, the top flap flew up, and slowly closed. Having done all of this, she chanted incantations in her mouth, chanted the magic spells incessantly with both hands, and continuously hit Thanh Lien in the crest one by one. Half a moment later, she poured Taisha into the refining furnace in the furnace. More than half an instant later, the fire potential fell. 20 breaths later, the flame extinguished. Vong Min Mai put the mold on the bottom of the Thanh Lien, a spell hit the top of the Thanh Lien, a deep sound, the lotus color of 60 degrees rotates, revealing a small hole, a crimson steel water from the giant inside, fell into the mold inside. The mold is made of special materials, and 10 parts are heat resistant. A moment later, the steel water turned into a fixed state, and the beauty also changed to black. Wang Chengsheng and the 4 people did not dare to breathe heavily, fearing that they would disturb Vong Min Mai. Vong Min Mai breathed a sigh of relief, took the porcelain bottle, gently shook it. A group of blue liquid flew out from the inside, suspended in the air. She chanted the magic spell with 10 fingers, one by one, hitting the blue liquid inside. The color bar of the liquid rolled and transformed, as if it were a living thing. Stop! Vong Min Mai let out a low shout, and the law changed instantly. After the bluest liquid, the most ambiguous, turned into 2 mysterious characters. Go! Her hand pointed to the stamping plate with a gentle touch. The 2 chromatic characters whirled around, flashed and disappeared into the solid block of steel. The iron block immediately shined, and the whole body turned into color. Vong Min Mai took out from his sleeve the biggest one about the size of a blue-gourd hand, poured out a bit of clear water from the inside, and poured it into the sharp bar on the steel block. Poke up! With a deep sound, the iron block on the outside rose a large white steam. After a while, the steam dispersed, and a sharp blade appeared in the mold inside. Vong Min Mai was immediately overjoyed, took out a sharp short knife, and carefully flipped it over. The 5 girls are so powerful, the first time they refine their weapons, they succeed. Vuong Truong Sinh is a fan. Vong Min Dong said sternly. Spiritual weapons are not refined until they are successful, but the quality remains to be seen. If there is a tear on the blade, it cannot be sold. 7 Uncle, sir, look, how do I refine the Qingyu knife? Vuong Min Mai suppressed the excitement in his heart, gave the sharp knife to Vuong Dutik. Vuong Dutik received the sharp short knife, carefully flipped it over, nodded approvingly. It's not wrong. It seems that during this time of studying, Min Mai studied very diligently, but after all, it is your first time. Refining, experience is not enough. There are a few small cracks on the hilt of the blade. It must be when you practice, too much lead to mistakes. You are the first time refining, can do this. It's already very good. Rest for a while, remember well the process of refining the qi just now, and continue refining. He looked at the 4 of Wang Changsheng and told him, you don't want to be idle. Well, recall the Ming Mei refining process just now. If there is a place to lead, then it can't be. Better yet, wait until it's your turn. Wang Changsheng and the 4 of them agreed, and their faces showed a memory picture one after another. Looking at Vuong Min Mai refining the Tan Wei knife process, Vuong Truong Sinh was very emotional and wanted to immediately start refining. Vuong Min Mai rested for a moment, meditating. After his magic power and spirit were restored to their best state, Vuong Min Mai continued to practice qi. Having experienced the first time, the second time refining the qi is obviously quite a lot. The surface of the spirit tool does not have a crack, the color is bright, it is a real low-grade spiritual item. When he was refining for the third time, Vuong Min Mai was probably impatient, said the wrong sentence and recited a spell, used to carve the spiritual literature, lost control, scattered on the ground, could only hold a translation part. The third time Vuong Min Mai also succeeded in refining the qi, but because of the wrong incantation at the time of the spiritual writing was a bit slow, and the color of the spirit weapon was a bit dark. In short, Vuong Min Mai performed very well. Refining 3 times was successful, of which the second time refining to the best spiritual artifact. Of course, she can have such a good performance, except for her rigorous study outside. The shadow table has also played a great role, if not for her repeated observation of the ancestors refining the qi, not yet. It should be possible to refine spirit qi so smoothly. Vuong Min Mai exhausted all 3 parts of the document later. It was Vuong Min Dong's turn to refine the gas. The previous 2 times of refining, he did not have to go out of the furnace too quickly. The material has not completely dissolved into steel water, but the training time is relatively slow. The surface of the aura has many cracks, it cannot be refined. Spirit. Vuong Min can performed well, succeeded once, but there was a small tear on the hilt of the blade, which, strictly speaking, was not appropriate. Vuong Truong Hon's expression, it's not that the fire marquee is not sure enough. Early opening the furnace, it is the wrong word of mouth, and it didn't work even once. When it was Wang Changsheng's turn, he took a deep breath, walked to the qi refining furnace in front of him, and crossed his arms above the mat. He closed his eyes and recalled the process of Wang Mingmei and the 4 of them. A moment later, Wang Changsheng opened his eyes and began to refine qi. He put silver needle wood at the bottom of Tan Lien, lit a fire and put a loaf of cake on Tan Lien at the top of the top lid. When the noodles turned from white to yellow, Vuong Truong Sinh threw Huyan Thiet into Tan Lien in the top. Half a moment later, he poured a box of iron sands into it. After burning a piece of spirit wood, he hit the top of Tan Lien with a magic spell. The top of the body and the outer surface of the lotus flower rotates 60 degrees, and the steel water flows through the small holes into the mold inside. Vuong Truong Sinh took out the spirit fluid. One by one, he decided to hit the spirit fluid inside. The spirit fluid transformed into 2 mysterious blue characters, then disappeared into the steel block. The iron block immediately magnified the light, and the 2 chromatic characters flashed wildly. Only this stitch remains to practice. This stitch is the most important step of qi refining. Wang Changsheng took a deep breath, carefully poured cold water on the iron block, and immediately raised a white fog. The fog dispersed, and a flash of light appeared in front of everyone. Success! Wang Changsheng's face was like crazy. He took out a sharp short knife, carefully examined it, loved it and didn't let go. A piece of spiritual qi took shape under his hand, and a pride was born naturally. Uncle 7, how do you see this spirit tool? Vuong Truong Sinh brought Tan Wei knife to Vuong Dutik, invited Vuong Dutik to consider. Wang Yaoshi took the Qingyu knife, carefully examined it, and nodded with satisfaction. The first time refining the qi, you can successfully refine the spirit qi. Your performance is already good, but you are against fire. Waiting to hold is not enough. The steel water comes out of the furnace a little early. The iron saw part has not completely dissolved. This sword Ton Wei and you 5 friends refining Ton Wei knife collide with each other. This knife must be broken. You have to pay attention to the fire marquee. It can't be too early. It can't be too late. A little mistake will affect the quality of aura. Rest a bit, and continue to refine qi. Yes, 7 dukes. Wang Chengsheng agreed, closed his eyes, and carefully recalled the refining process just now. A moment later, he opened his eyes and continued to refine qi. After that, 2 times of qi refining, Vuong Truong Sin's furnace time was a bit slow. Fate engraved the spiritual writings of time, refining up to the gloomy color spiritual qi. In the 3 parts of the material, he successfully made a spiritual weapon, although the quality of the spiritual weapon is not particularly good, but it is still considered good. You have just started qi refining today. Failure does not want to languish. Novices inevitably fail. Success does not want to be arrogant. Arrogance makes people retreat. The path of qi refining, wanting is good. If you want to get better, you can't go wrong. You guys can talk about your own qi refining process, research and compare each other. It's easier to improve. Vong Minmai nodded and said, I'll go first. I'm following the method of my ancestors to refine qi, to light a spirit wood fire to add heat. Vong Minmai 5 people took turns saying that they were refining qi. The process, mutual research and discussion, have many benefits. The day passed quickly, and they returned to their own cultivation room. Bin Duong District, certain court of all kinds of exotic flowers and herbs in the valley. The outer cup is a large white field. The inner cup has a large structure, which is the headquarters of the Song family. The Song family has more than 400 years of history. The inner clan has more than 160 famous cultivators. The highest cultivation is Tong Thien Min. Song Thien Min is now 140 years old. Truc Company is 3-tiered. He practices in a secret room every day. No big deal, other clansmen won't disturb his latent cultivation. One day, a tall, thin, middle-aged student knocked on the stone door. Second uncle, I have something very important to report to you. The middle-aged Confucian reverent voice. He is the Song family patriarch of the time, Song Ziyang, 40 years old this year, 6th floor refining. It's Ziyang. Come in. Song Tianming's voice suddenly sounded, and the stone gate came out. Song Ziyang quickly walked in. The secret room was no more than 100 zhong larger than a small one. In addition to a stone bed, there was also a stone table and a few chairs. Not intimate in the room, the spiritual energy was relatively strong. Song Thien Min sat cross-legged on a large ballroom, saw Song Ziyang approaching, and asked, Ziyang, what happened? There's no big deal, but our neighbors, Chengping County Wangye seem to have discovered some kind of mineral vein, which is specialized to report to second uncle. Song Tianming's eyebrows furrowed and asked, mineral vein? To be clear, what is going on here? It's such a thing. A month ago, many clansmen discovered that Binan, Ton Thatch Town, the most stone quarry that displayed the formation of the law, was also guarded by the Wang clan, and once outsiders approached, they would be killed. They deported, sent people to secretly investigate, discovered that every battle, a few royal cultivators would leave the quarry and return to Thanh Lien Mountain. The time is not fixed, the route is also different. It is not fixed, the quality is sent to the supervisor for more than a month. At this time, a little bit of face has been discovered, the quality is analyzed, and the royal family should have discovered some kind of mineral vein. Song Tianming's eyes lit up and solemnly asked, mineral vein? Are you sure? The 9-walled substance is definitely a mineral vein. If it were other things, the people of the Wang clan would not be able to display the array, and often send people to transport it back to Thanh Lien Mountain. This explanation is suitable for mineral veins. Most reasonable. Ping'an County's inner circle discovered the most mineral vein. That is the ancestor of the royal family who accumulated virtue. How? You want to rob? Song Ziyang smiled shyly and said, second uncle, time is not easy for the native people. The past time has been stressful. We can't cultivate the talent of cultivating the 4 masters. We can only relying on selling Lin Kok to earn some spirit stone, plus the rent of Phuong Tea, reluctantly maintaining the family's transportation. The location of that mineral vein quarry is not far from us in Quang Lam district, the thickest block of fat. Right under our eyelids. Even if you can't swallow it, it's not too much to get a little bit of water oil. What do you want to do? You don't want to let me destroy that royal stronghold. If there really is a mineral vein in there, the royal family will definitely display a defensive formation. I remember that the royal family had a second-order spirit holding the Golden Eagle. The flight speed was faster than the normal flying magic weapon. From Thanh Lien Mountain to Thanh Thatch Town, it wouldn't take half an hour. If in this case, the royal family won't count it like that, at that time, how will you calm the anger of the royal family? Song Tianming frowned, not politely reprimanded. If it's just our Song family, naturally there is no need to expose it to the Vuong family, but if the Lu family and Sun family are also involved, the three families join forces, I think the Vuong family can only swallow this anger. Even if the King, Huang, and Li Tam family join forces, wait for them to hit the door, we can also take away some minerals and give out a small amount of money. Tong Thien Min rubbed his eyes, thinking about this benefit and harm. I already know this. We can join forces with the Lu family and the Sun family, but I can't take action. The monk Ningzhou Truc County has an unwritten rule. The Truc County monk can't follow the rules. I mean against the cultivator of the qi refining period. If not today I kill the monk of the King family qi refining period, tomorrow Wang Yaozong can kill a Song family qi refining monks. This will only be convenient. Core. Song Ziyang nodded and said. Cheer also understands this principle. Just ask for permission with second uncle. Don't dare to disturb second uncle to take action. We three families join hands. 5 factions of qi refining the monk period. The best win. The loss is not big. After all, it is the action of the three families. If the royal family takes revenge in the future, they also want to abstain from it. Are you planning to directly attack that stronghold? If you can't catch it, wait for Wang Yaozong to chase it. Sending out that clan person is a dead end. At that time, the royal family will take the ceremony. I can't get out. Second uncle taught right. Zier planned to attack and escort the Wang family's minerals. First weaken the defense force of the Wang family, and then join forces to attack that stronghold, within an hour's time. No, withdraw immediately. Do not delay. What do you mean by second uncle? Song Thien Min felt that this idea was not wrong, nodded and said, that's right, send a strange face, don't let people leave weaknesses. Yes, second uncle. Wang Yaoliang is 60 years old this year. He is a Tam Lin root. When he was young he was the main target of the family training. In the same generation, he was ranked 9th. Unfortunately, he could not, before the age of 40, cultivate to the 9 layers of qi refining, leaving the best time for the foundation. At that time, Vuong Tong had cultivated to the 9 levels of qi refining, being the mu of the clan's best natural talent. The internal resources were not enough to support 2 Truc County clansmen, passing through a group of old clansmen who decided to let Vuong Tong prioritize Truc Co. What made people surprised was that Wang Yaozong was in front of everyone, giving the bamboo pill to Vuong Luong, and Vuong Luong was very touched. Vuong Tong's qualifications are better than Vuong Luong's. Truc Co's grasp is a bit bigger. Vuong Luong flips through and thinks for an evening, and finally gives Truc County Dan back to Vuong Tong. The family spent a lot of money on auctioning to Truc County Dan, and immediately let Vuong Tong eat it. Vuong Tong did not let his clansmen be disappointed, successfully entering the Truc County period. Later, the family appeared to be better than the successor. Vuong Luong knew that Truc Co's ratio was quite low, adding that his grandson's character was not bad. He also did not hold hope for Truc Company, bringing the family to develop out cultivation resources for his grandson. Vuong Luong has 3 grandsons. The best quality is King Trong Bin. King Trong Bin is 15 years old this year. Mok Lin has 65 degrees of induction. In Vuong Gia, Trong has the inner middle letter. The quality is already above the intermediate level. It is already the 5-layer qi refining, ranked 14th. Vuong Truong Bin was 8 years old that year. His father escorted the goods on the way back to Harm. Vuong Luong brought King Truong Bin to his residence, devoted to fostering. Vuong Luong loves King Truong Bin very much. Normally, he eats less and wears less. He can't put flowers on even a block of spirit stones. To be king of Truong Bin, he needs to cultivate resources. As long as Vuong Luong can take it, he didn't even wrinkle, and immediately took out the spirit stone, which was King Chengping's purchase of necessary cultivation resources. Because Huyan Kim mineral vein was very important, Vuong Tong let Vuong Luong personally escort to exploit Zon Kim mineral stone. Vuong Liang is in charge of escorting Huyan Kim mineral stone. Each month obtains a little more cultivation resources. He is careful for his sake. However, Binan district is the territory of his own family. He escorts Zon Kim mineral stone every time. Returning to Thanh Lien Son. The road is very careful. The departure time is not fixed. The route is not fixed. It is to prevent people on the road to arrange ambushes. This day, early in the morning, the sky was still dark and hazy. Vuong Yaoliang brought 3 clansmen, quietly left the quarry. He did not use the Teng Yunjia Wu technique, that was too much. Other people notice. The quarry is not far from Quang Lam district. Most of Lin district is Bin Duong district. Tong Jia district. Resident Ton Thatch town reported that during this time, the upper town has many strange faces. The strange faces were all in the quarry exploration situation. Obviously, the Song family discovered an unusual quarry. This is also an impossible matter. Xuanjin mineral veins are very important. If the mining formation is not displayed, it is inevitable that people will steal and dig, causing greater losses. Vuong Luong informed Vuong Min Bin and quickly increased his staff. Out of the quarry, Vuong Luong and the other 3 clansmen helped out, muttering in their mouths. It didn't take long for them to shine a golden light outside, and the 4 of them quickly turned around and ducked into the ground so as not to be seen. Beginner upper level magic, earth release technique, the deepest can dive 50 feet underground. 100 meters away from the quarry, behind a golden megalith, suddenly a golden light suddenly shone, and a middle-aged man in a yellow robe appeared. The middle-aged man in a yellow robe looks very ordinary, but if someone uses divine consciousness to glance at it, he will never find the existence of a middle-aged man. Finally escorting the ore out of the country. The middle-aged man thought to himself, pulling out a golden toad about the size of a hand from his chest. The yellow toad on the body is covered with pus, looking over 10 ugly parts. He closed his 5 fingers, holding the yellow toad. The yellow toad made a strange noise, and its body quickly expanded. He retrieved the yellow toad. The outside of his body lit up with a burst of yellow light, and burrowed into the ground so as not to be seen. After nearly half an hour, a thicket of forest and a piece of ground surface suddenly sprouted a large bundle, shining with a golden array of light, as if something wanted to come out of the ground. With a deep sound, Vuong Yaoliang and 3 clansmen emerged from the ground. Rest a little, continue on the road. Vuong Yaoliang waved his sleeve and ordered. For safety reasons, Vuong Luong planned to return to Thanh Lien Mountain by a tunnel route, which took a bit of time, but it was safe. Vuong Yaoliang went to a big tree that covered the sky, took out dry food and started eating. Suddenly, he raised his eyebrows, turned his head to look at a big tree in the distance, and shouted, "Who's hiding there? Get the old man out of here." After saying this, his lips moved a few times, the first layer of blue dance fluttered the light curtain, and on the other hand, the 3 clansmen also gave themselves a protective circle. Haha, I didn't expect that I would use a trace of magic power for this one to be discovered by friend Wang Dao. I can't help but let fellow Taoist Wang escort the ore. A somewhat sarcastic voice suddenly resounded. Just as he finished speaking, 5 men dressed in black came out from the trees behind the big tree. The 5 of them wore uniform black clothes, even their faces were covered with a black cloth, and their eyes were filled with tears. One name is 8-layer refining, 4 or 5, tiered air purifier. Vuong Luong secretly cried out in his heart, calmly said, "What do you mean by these 5 friends? This is a family member of Thanh Lien Mountain, I don't know where to offend a few friends." Hee, not to mention offending, but friend Wang has the things we want on him, is timely, obediently hands over the things. The head of the black-robed man laughed and said. Vuong Yaoliang's eyebrows furrowed slightly, sneered and said, "Only a few of you. Joke, is it true that Wang Mo is afraid of you? Humph, if we add us again." A voice with a hoarse voice resounded. A huge white cloud descended from the sky, and 10 men in black robes covered the priest's face from the white cloud. 15 cultivators of the Qi refining period, 3 of the 8 layers refiners, 12 of the 5 layers refiners, in contrast to Vuong Yaoliang over here, except for Vuong Yaoliang, the 9 layers refiners, the remaining 3 clansmen. It is the 5 stages of Qi refining, the forces of both sides are far apart. Don't talk nonsense with them, do it, we still have big things to do. A female ice-cold's voice resounded. Vuong Yaoliang secretly cried in his heart that it was not good, hurriedly took out the silver light shining with the seal, whispered a few words, and threw it at the location of Thanh Lien Mountain. Not good. Quickly stop the sound transmission talisman. A tall, dark-robed man hurriedly ordered, but it was slow. The silver seal of the seal separated from his hand, and it turned into a dazzling silver light that flew towards the horizon, extremely fast. Fighting speed wins, kill them. The black-robed man sacrificed his spiritual energy and attacked Vuong Yaoliang and the 4 people. Vuong Yaoliang reacted very quickly, and at the same time as the black-robed man sacrificed the spirit, he took out 7 blue talismans and threw them in all directions. The 7 blue talismans separated from their hands, and they broke apart, and a large white mist poured out, covering the area of 100 zhang. The white fog covered the 4 figures of Vuong Yaoliang. The black-robed man could not clearly see the position of the 4 people. Dozens of spiritual items went into the white mist, and the cotton felt soft on the cotton, unable to do anything. Battle. Damn it. Use offensive magic. The black-robed man scolded, muttering in his mouth. 15 black-clothed men, divided into 3 groups, each with red, blue, and yellow 3 species spirit lights on their bodies, a kind of spiritual light of 5 people. A large amount of fire, blue light, and yellow light appeared in the air in succession, condensing into a giant fireball the size of a room, a 5-6 zhang long transparent water spear, 1 block 5 and 6. Large and small yellow megalithic staff. They are very proficient in coordinating with each other, obviously receiving training in this aspect. Go. The giant fireball, transparent water spear, yellow megalith gradually entered the white fog, sending out a bang, and the white fog dispersed a bit. No need to save. Any moves will come out. They increased their attack power. Fireballs, water spears, and megaliths rose up one after another, diving into the white fog. The explosions continued to explode. In the white fog, Vuong Yaoliang's brows were tightly knitted, his face full of sorrow. This set of 7 Tin Tui Vu Battle First Class High-Grade Battle Talisman was taken by Vuong Min Bin from the family's treasure, and handed it to Vuong Du Luong to protect him. The 7 Stars Water Formation is a first-grade upper-grade formation. This is a defensive formation. The talisman is a combined formation with the seal of the seal, which can bring out the full power of the 7 city formation. Law is the limit. To tell the truth, Vuong Yaoliang was also the first time to use the array talisman. He did not know how long the array talisman could block the attack of 15 cultivators. After all, the array talisman was too expensive. He always keep the clansmen inside, if you have a chance to use the battle talisman. He had done the best and worst plan. Even if he died, he would not let thieves steal the Xuanjin ore from his body. Ming Wei, you understand Earth release technique. If the battle breaks, you will immediately bring up the mysterious gold ore and run back to Qinglian Mountain. Vuong Yaoliang rushed at a tall and thin middle-aged man and told him to bring 3 golden storage bags and give them to the middle-aged man. 9 Uncle, you can rest assured. Things are in existence, things are not in people's death. Wang Mingwei patted his chest to assure him, his expression dignified. He hesitated a little, said, 9 Uncle, otherwise you bring things back to Qinglian Mountain, we will stay to stop the bandits. Vuong Yaoliang waved his hand and said, there are 15 thieves, their cultivation is much higher than yours, you only stay here for nothing. Old Uncle Ju, the family still wants to depend on you in the future. You young generation, Ming Wei, if I can't live and return, Chengping they bother you. I'm an old man, I'm not afraid, I'm afraid after I die take care of Chengping and them. Wang Mingwei's face was condensed and comforted. 9 Uncle, you shouldn't be so pessimistic, it's okay, the clan has received news, we need to come running soon, but we can promise you, if you really have an accident, we will definitely take good care of Trong Bin. When Vuong Yaoliang heard that, he no longer had any doubts in his heart. The banging sound continued. Under the siege of 15 Qi refining stage monks, the white fog continued to disperse, the area getting smaller and smaller. Half an instant later, after the explosion, the white mist dispersed, revealing the figures of Vuong Yaoliang and the 4 people. Vuong Duliang grabbed a few seals with both hands, and the other 2 guys from the Wang family took their hands and grabbed the seals. Without saying a word, they threw the seal in their hand towards the opposite enemy. Dozens of talismans gradually broke apart, turning into fireballs, water arrows, earth maces, and thatch too, and hit the 15 men in black. 15 black-robed men have applied for themselves to protect themselves, and also control the spiritual qi to receive these spells. For a moment, the explosions boomed continuously, and the spiritual light flashed. Taking this opportunity, Vuong Min Bin's lips moved a few times, and the outside of his body lit up with a burst of yellow light, ducking into the ground so as not to be seen. However, very quickly, a cry of pain came from the ground. Not good, Ming Wei, something happened. Vuong Duluong's face changed, and he secretly cried out in his heart that it was not good. The ground suddenly lit up with a dazzling golden light. A large and small golden giant seed emerged from the ground. 2 large pliers grasped Vuong Mingwei's body. Vuong Mingwei's chest was pierced by giant pliers, and there were several blood vessels on his head. Humph, I've already been on the lookout for you guys to hide in the underground. A man in black said with a sneer, his eyes couldn't help but show a hint of smugness. Less words are useless, the royal family's reinforcements come quickly, and the battle is won quickly. As soon as these words fell, a black-robed woman controlled a large and small red scissors near the staff, and attacked Vuong Yaoliang and the three of them. Pink scissors slightly expand slightly, the light flickers. At the same time, the other black-clothed people rushed to control the spiritual energy to attack. Dozens of items of spiritual light flashed. The spiritual energy hit, the prestige was amazing. Vuong Duliang forcibly pressed down in his heart of sorrow and anger, offering a golden light that sparkled with the seal, the outer surface of which had the most pattern of a bowl. The golden talisman broke away from his hand and immediately crumbled. Turned into a bowl-shaped golden light curtain, large and small, and hooked Vuong Yaoliang and the three of them upside down. The second-order defensive talisman of Tho Quang. The Truc County monk who wants to eliminate this defensive talisman also needs to spend a lot of effort. Dozens of spiritual weapons hit the golden light above one after another, sending out a sound of metal clashing. The curtain of yellow light swayed endlessly, the light was blazing. The golden giant particle was controlled by the monk in black, quickly facing the yellow light curtain. The thorny tail swayed, illusorily turning into the black line, hitting the light curtain one after another. Yellow above. Vuong Duliang did not sacrifice the enemy's spirit, the enemy was strong and we were weak. What he needed to do was defend, use his ability to row to the arrival of reinforcements, take action to fight, die as quickly as possible. As time passed by, the golden light curtain quickly dimmed and flickered, and at any time, it would scatter its appearance. Break it for me. Dozens of spiritual weapons immediately magnified their spiritual light, hitting a golden light curtain of light in the direction of the light. Vuong Yaoliang's eyes flashed with determination, he smashed a golden seal on his body, a golden light flashed, and a piece of golden armor emerged. He took a step forward, stretched out his arms, stopped the two clansmen behind him, and shouted, "Go quickly." The golden armor on his body was a first-grade high-grade spirit talisman gold armor talisman transformed into, and could not resist the attacks of dozens of spiritual weapons at all, but as soon as he faced it, dozens of spiritual weapons pierced his body. His body. Vuong Yaoliang let out a miserable scream, his body softened, and he fell on the ground, a large amount of fresh blood gushed out, dyeing his armor red. He did not die immediately, but at the moment of dying. At the last moment of his life, all kinds of experiences like riding a horse and lanterns appeared in his mind. When he was a child, he went to the same place with the clansmen to teach at the same place to study and cultivate knowledge, considered as the key to fostering his subjects when he was enthusiastic. From Vuong Duliang, he received the touching Truc County Dan, Vuong Duliang. Successfully, Truc Company was happy, knowing that his son died tragically. The grandson of King Trong Bin entered the stage with joy, knowing that the family discovered the most famous Huyen Kim mineral vein. What he is most worried about now is whether the family can maintain the Xuanjin mineral vein, and the Xuanjin mineral vein is the family that has overcome difficulties and is strong. He was very unwilling. He really wanted to fight with the bandits, but he found that his body was not controlled, and his eyes were focused on the two clansmen. Because Vuong Yaoliang blocked most of the spiritual energy, the remaining two clansmen were able to survive, but in the eyes of the black-robed monks, these two Vuong family people are just two corpses, no worth worrying about. Dozens of spiritual items revolved around, directed at the two kings of the family. Careful disciple. The elderly middle-aged man took out the two seals of the past years, and patted the young man in white on his body. The spiritual light flashed, and the white-shirt young man immediately added two lights of blue and red. With a scream, dozens of spiritual weapons pierced the middle-aged man's body, and the middle-aged man's body softened and fell to the ground. Dare to kill our royal family, do you want to die? At this moment, a voice filled with anger suddenly came from the horizon. As soon as these words fell, a black shadow appeared in the sky, and a black shadow appeared in the sky with a long scream. The black shadow is clearly a giant eagle with a large body, his mouth is golden, his back is a yellow eagle, standing there, Vuong Duliang and Vuong Du. Not good. Truc County monk, leave quickly. I don't know who shouted loudly. The black-robed monk fled in all directions. The black giant particle outside the body glowed with a golden light, invisible to the ground. Vuong Yaozong coldly snorted, waved his sleeve, 3 golden rays of light shot out, flashed and disappeared into the ground so as not to be seen. A scream came from the ground. 15 black-robed monks fled in all directions, either using the wind power technique, or using the earth release technique, or using the seal. Vuong Yaozong flashed a circle of cold light in his eyes, sacrificed a shining golden blade of flame, and hit the black-robed monk below. From the golden flame blade exudes a powerful spiritual energy to see, it is clearly a magic weapon. The cultivators of the Qi refining period could not resist the attack of the magic tool at all, but their speed was fast, and it was not as fast as the magic tool. A few screams rang out. 4 black monks fell one by one, their bodies were separated, one black monk's right thigh was severed, one end of a sharp rope came flying, wrapping the body. After killing 4 people, Vuong Yaozong did not hunt down other monks, and the giant eagle slowly descended. The young man in white took out his spiritual weapon and wanted to hunt down the black monk, but was prevented by Vuong Yutong. Min Hao, enemies are on the same road, don't chase them. Second uncle, they killed 9 uncle, 13th brother, and 10th brother, I want to avenge them. Vuong Minhao has a sad face, his right hand is holding a white long sword. This group of children is definitely not a cultivator, the coordination between the cultivators and practitioners will not be so good, they are uniformly dressed in black pine, obviously trying to hide their identity. I am not wrong, they should be Bin Duong County cultivates the immortal family. I can kill all of these people, but any day, the monks behind Truc County can also take action against us King family Qi refining period, because like then, it will only make the outsiders see the excitement, the 3 of them are dead. I also kill the 4 of them, arrest 1 person, enough for the time being. Wang Yaozu's lips moved a few times, his body was lit up with a golden light, and he could not see it in the ground. A moment later, he emerged from the ground and pulled out the yellow giant bead body. The golden giant bead's head was pierced by 3 golden long nails, and the giant pliers grabbed Wang Mingwei's body. Wang Yaozu stepped forward quickly, struck down the yellow giant bead, took down Wang Mingwei's body, and found 3 yellow storage bags from the body. After confirming that the mysterious golden minerals were all in the storage bag, he breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Second brother, everything is here." Every time Bong Du Liang escorted Zon Kim Or, they were all 3 storage bag level spiritual weapons. Wang Yaozong nodded, looked at the black monk who was tied by a sharp rope, and ordered, "Fourth brother, you and Min Hao escorted him back, good interrogation, I will go to Qingxi town. Take a look." After saying this, he jumped to the back of the stinky giant eagle, and the 2 wings of the stinky eagle shook and flew into the air. Vong Minhao brought the body collected in a storage bag, accompanied by Vong Du to escorted the black monk back to Thanh Lien Mountain. More than an hour later, Thanh Lien Son, Thanh Lien Lao. The old king of the family is the most comprehensive, each person's expression is unusually serious, and Wang Yaozong is sitting on the main seat. Min Bean, have you got the results yet? What is the background of this group of people? Wang Yaozong asked in a low voice. He handed over. Bin Duong District 3's family joined hands with us. The Song family discovered an unusual quarry, speculated to be some kind of mineral vein. The Song family combined the Lu family, and the Sun family took action. For us, it's good that Xuanzhen ore was not stolen by them. They are just guessing at the moment, don't know what mineral vein is in the quarry. Speaking of this, Vong Min Bean hesitated a little, and partly blamed himself. Blame me for being too careless. The 9 uncles in front let me increase my personal defense. I need to change the first group of people a little earlier. Pass. Wang Yaozong shook his head and said, "This matter is not your fault. Everyone in the clan has their own responsibilities. In a short while, there are not so many people, and also, the original matter is in Song, Lu, and Sun. The 3 clans are stalking. Even if you increase your guard, they can send more people to attack their 9 brothers. I will go to the quarry to see. The quarry will not happen, but this is not a long-term plan. Long story short, we have to think of a way to solve this problem, and we can't send dozens of famous people every time to escort Xuanzhen ore. Otherwise, we should ask the royal family and the Tran family for help. With their support, the Song, Lu, and Sun 3 families should not be in chaos, but the royal family and the Tran family are always useless. It's early, and their strength is far superior to us. If they want to help, I'm afraid that they have to give more than half of the benefits." Vong Duthong is thoughtful, giving the most simple. "No, this Zon Jin mineral vein is the promise of our future royal family, can't be distributed to outsiders," and said, "The Chen family and Song family are family daughters, who knows if they can get involved or not. Gathering together to occupy the Huyan Kim mineral vein. Until then, we want to get more back, many difficulties." Wang Yaochen also disagreed. "I look to strengthen my guard, and at the same time ask for help in our family relations. We have been married for hundreds of years, and there are many children and sisters." Wang Yaozong nodded, looked at Wang Mingyuan, and said, "Mingyuan, you are the owner of the house, tell me a little about your view." Vuong Minh Binh thought about it and said, Cheer feels that we want two pens to draw together. Song, Lu, and Sun San's servants wear black clothes, obviously don't want to make things big, that's it. So we immediately took this group of children and thieves to be the evil two. On the other hand, ask for help in our family relations. I remember Nyi's younger sister married to the Sun family, talking about Nhi brother and Tun. The Lu family and Niem Nguyen in the Truc Gia district are family relations, and the Zhao family old Tai Jun is my mother's aunt, can ask the Zhao family for help, regarding the quarry. It is possible to declare that there is a place in the middle of the first grade middle grade spirit vein. Our royal family wants to plant the spirit valley there, bite to death and plant the spirit valley, there is no evidence, they don't dare to mess. Ming Yuan, this idea is not wrong, I agree. I also agree. Vuong Dutong carefully thought about it and said, just relying on family relations, it is not possible to expel the Song, Tun, and save the third family, that's it. Min Bean, you and Min Tai bring the family, bring up a little gift, go to the Zhao family and the Yi family separately, let them and the Lu family and Sun family breathe, don't want to overdo it, I'll bring the Kim Chui Eagle and go to Ton Truc Valley for a visit. Round, punching and rubbing, hoping to let Tong, Lu, and Tun Tam Gia stop. Really can't. We can cooperate with the royal family. The royal family is also not less. As for Tran, even if the Chen family is over, the Chen family has developed rapidly these years, and cooperating with the Chen family will only make the Chen family stronger and stronger, and it will be disadvantageous to us in the future. Vuong Duta thought about it and added, at this time, it is still necessary to strengthen the defense of the quarry. Min Bean immediately dispatched 30 famous people to go to the quarry. The inner clan's hands are tight. There is no need to have so many people. Thanh Lien Son still wants to keep the servants. With so many people, it is difficult to hide the eyes of the Tran family and the eyes and ears, and mobilize 10 people. That's enough. I brought the Lin family with the Kim Tui Eagle and saved it at the quarry, although it is said that the Kim Tui Eagle is a second-order middle-class Lin bird, but the ancestors left a piece of the beast ring. The 5 brothers can pass through the area. The beast ring promotes the Golden Lord Eagle. Yes. Second uncle, I immediately ordered. After the meeting ended, Vuong Minh Binh waited for people to act. Truong Wei Na was born in Nam Viam, Truong Gia district. Truong Gia was the first in Nam Viam district to cultivate the family. During the prosperous period, the Truong family had 3 Truc County monks, occupying the 3 districts. Truong Wei Na is Truong Gia Tan's second daughter. Her personality, at the age of 16 that year, Truong Wei Na opened her eyes to the royal family. Truong Wei Na has been to the royal family for 25 years. Instead of Vuong Minh Tai gave birth to 2 sons. The eldest son Vuong Truong Ca, 22 years old, has a cultivation base of 6 floors, and the youngest son Truong Di is 10 years old. 4 years old, 4th floor refining. She normally is in charge of raising Toyot Van Millet. Toyot Van Millet is the family's inheritance, but she takes care of a few first-rank low-grade Lin Nu, which can bring her 30 or 40 pieces of spirit stone profit every year. She saved all the spirit stones for her 2 sons, hoping that they could go as far as Immortal Map. At noon today, she went home with her usual day to provide for her 2 sons to cook. Vuong Minh Tai is relatively busy, and rarely comes home at noon. Purple sweet potato porridge, a plate of dried tofu, 3 large dumplings. Vuong Truong Gia is in charge of keeping the quarry. There is no way to return, only Truong Wei Na and Vuong Truong Gi have lunch. After Vuong Truong Gi finished eating, he returned to his room to rest. Truong Wei Na collected the bowls and chopsticks. She had just finished collecting the bowls and chopsticks, and Vuong Minh Tai hurried over. Darling, the meal is done, you go back to your room to rest for a while, I will call you when you finish the meal. Vuong Minh Kai shook his head and said, I've tasted it, Chong Yi is in the room. You collect some, we will return to your mother's family. Truong Wei Na was a little stunned, and said suspiciously, my father's birthday passed soon, what did my mother do at this time? 9 uncles were on the way back, met with ambushes, suffered misfortunes, and were examined, and they were Bin Duong, Tong District, Tun, Lu, 3 clans joined forces to deal with our royal family, second uncle ordered, yielded to the royal family. We went back to your mother's house for a visit. I want to have a good conversation with your father-in-law. I remember correctly, your sister Wei Qiu married to the Sun family. Nhi Ba hopes that the father-in-law is kind and gentle. After all, it's not good for anyone to expose themselves. Truong Wei Na frowned and said, beautiful, why did their Sun family attack us? The palm of the hand is meat, the back of the hand is also meat, my father can't tilt the sides. You, the royal family, can't tilt the Sun family. I know, I just want to let the father-in-law say, if our two families really fight, it's not good for anyone, but the third brother agrees to me, if the father-in-law can let the son family stop, and then each month, they will issue more and drop the level of Truong Gi to wait first grade middle grade Lin Co. Truong Wei Na's eyes lit up and asked, really? Third brother really said that? Vuong Minh Tai nodded and said, of course it's true, why did I deceive you? The third brother said in front of a few brothers, this matter is done, we are to make merit on behalf of the family, the third brother gives each month. In addition, it is also advisable for Truong Gi to give the first grade middle grade Lin Yu 2 pounds. Truong Gi at this time is the best time to cultivate, if it is possible to use a lot of first grade middle grade Lin Yu every month, the speed of cultivation his training will speed up a bit. That's great, this shouldn't be delayed. We leave immediately. My father likes to drink spirit wine. We buy a jar of ton truc to return. The old man is most happy, speaking the same standard, no problem. Subject. Truong Wei Na knew that this matter related to her son's cultivation resources in the future, very much to her heart, actively plotted. Soon, Vuong Minh Tai, a family of 3, left Thanh Lien Mountain and flew to the south of Yan County. Truc Tuesday is now 97 years old this year. She is one of the 2 Truc County monks, one of the Truc family, and the highest person in the Zhao family. Truc Tuesday did not marry out, but recruited a son-in-law to come to the house. Under the pillow there are 2 children, the daughter is married out, the eldest son has been transformed, the little son Truc Tu Hang is the Zhao family homeowner, in charge of handling the Zhao family's big and small matters. There is no particularly important matter. Truc Tu Hang will not disturb Truc Tuesday's cultivation. At noon this day, Truc Tu Hang went to Truc Tuesday to stay on the upper floor, gently knocked on the door of the room 3 times, and said, Mother, Uncle is coming, and Min Bean also has a family. My birthday is still half a year away, what are they doing at this time? A slightly hoarse voice came from the upstairs of the pavilion. The door to the room was knocked out, and an old man who had passed his old age walked out carelessly. The old man had a gentle face, a wrinkled face, a rosy face, and was holding a sharp staff in his right hand. Zhao Xiang shook his head and said, I don't know, but the child found that my uncle and brother Min Yuan's faces were full of worry. Maybe something happened to the Wang family. They were in the living room. Truc Tuesday thought about it and said, assigning the kitchen assistant to make a table of meat and wine. They are so far away, we can't lose the level of politeness. I'll go see them. Yes, let them go. Stop the incense and stop the porch to the living room to receive guests. Yes, Mother. In the living room, Vuong Duta, Vuong Minh Bean, Lu Tan Nhi, Vuong Truong Sinh 4 people sat on a chair. Vuong Duta and Vuong Minh Bean were full of worry, and Vuong Truong Sinh was confused. Wang Chengsheng was at the beginning of qi refining, and Wang Yaozu suddenly came to find him, and brought him to Hudai Valley. Ho Deep Kok is the headquarters of Niem Nguyen district of the Zhao family, and when Wang Chengsheng passed away, his great-grandmother was Truc Jia, the old lady's brother, and sister. According to the background, the old man of Zhao family is Wang Chengsheng's great-grandmother. Vuong Minh Bean can become the head of the royal family, except for the fairness elsewhere, pay with Truc Tuesday's best support to have a relationship. Truc Tuesday every year at the end of his life, Vuong Duta will bring Vuong Truong Sinh to the Truc family to grant Truc Tuesday wishes for a long life. Vuong Minh Bean will become the head of the family later, because he has to be busy everywhere with family affairs. It's been a long time since there's been a million family. In Wang Chengsheng's impression, his grandmother treated everyone kindly and loved him very much, but these years he lived in Bin and county town, and could not grant a will. Sijin, big sister is not at home. Wang Yaozu hesitated for a moment, rushed to the side, and asked a middle-aged man. A middle-aged man with a simple face, aged about 40 years old. Chinger is not clear about Aunt's movements, but if it is convenient, I will definitely go out and see it. I will sit for a while. Zhao Zijin smiled and said politely. Yao Zhu, it's only been a year since you've seen it. How did your temper become so impatient? Truc Tuesday's voice came from outside. As soon as this word ended, Truc Tuesday strode forward, with a smile on his face. Truc Tu Hang stood behind her. Behind Truc Tu Hang, followed a man and a woman. Tall and thin male, with decent facial features, aged about 20 years old, a Confucian body born in dress, a woman wearing a long skirt, aged 15-16 years old left and right, snow-white skin, beautiful 5 mandarins, Lin Lung's figure touched people's hearts. Big sister, your mood is still so good. Vuong Duta put a smile on his face and said a polite sentence. Old man, I can't use it anymore. Speaking of which, Min Bean hasn't come to see me for a long time. How do you think to visit me today? Truc Tuesday nodded, looking at Vuong Min Bean with deep meaning. Vuong Min Bean quickly explained. My aunt is broken, she is always thinking about marrying her aunt, but the family is busy, really can't clone herself. This time, she is dedicated to visiting. Aunt. That's right. Auntie. Husband dreamed of his grandmother a few days ago. Because of this, he scolded him loudly. The husband regretted it. After handling the matter in his hand, immediately came to visit and ask. Auntie, my husband knows that I like to have breakfast in the wards, and intentionally went to the wards to buy some breakfast. Lu Tan Nhi said, from the storage bag, took out the most beautiful lunch box. It's okay to have this part of filial piety. You don't have to intentionally go to the hundreds of wards to buy some hearts, collect them. Zhao Zihang spoke up, smiled and said, Min Bean told me to be too polite. We are one family, there is no need to be so polite. Truc Tuesday looked at Wang Changsheng, a gentle expression said, I haven't seen him for a few years, but Changsheng is tall, but you are the 5-layer refining, Ningxiang has the 6th-layer refining. Quote. Vuong Truong Sinh rushed to Truc Tuesday to bow down and respectfully said, my niece is asking for peace. I have come to the secular world to take charge of the Master of Heaven for a few years. The speed of cultivation is a bit slow. Big brother Changsheng, the next time we meet, I need to enter the 7th layer of refining. Zhao Ningxiang said with a smile. A glint of pride flashed in her beautiful eyes. She is 16 years old this year, has cultivated to the 6th level of refining, and is the first person in the Zhao family, Ning, in the middle. You girl, if it weren't for you to stop using the first-grade middle-grade Spirit Valley to make soup, would you be able to practice so quickly to the 6th level? Cultivation is like going against the current. You can't be arrogant and complacent. It's not too late to be proud when you enter the Truc True period. Truc Tuesday's face was reprimanded, his tone was strict, he didn't talk in love, anyone could hear him. Zhao Ningxiang stuck out his tongue, nodded and said, Sanur remembers the teachings of her ancestors. Ninghong met her grandfather, uncle, and judge. Ning Zan met his grandfather, uncle, and judge. The young Confucian youth walked quickly forward to salute and said respectfully. Speaking of, I haven't seen Ning Zan and Ning Shang in a long time. I didn't expect them to be so big. These two spiritual weapons are an expression of the same heart. You don't want to hate them. Quote. Wang Mingyuan said with a smile, took out a yellow small knife and a sharp short sword, and the two pieces of spiritual qi on the surface of the spirit light flowed non-stop. This, Zhao Ningxiang did not immediately accept the spiritual weapon, looking at Truc Tuesday. If your uncle gave it to you, you would take it away. Having obtained Truc Tuesday's permission, Tru Nanhin and Tru Nagung Hong thanked him and received the spirit. Changsheng, come here, you have not come to see your grandmother for 3 years, let her take a closer look. Truc Tuesday rushed to Vuong Truong Sinh and waved his hand. Although Sun can't come to give her good wishes for a long life, but in her heart, Sun is always thinking of taking her grandmother. Seeing grandma's mood is still so good, Sun is at ease. Wang Changsheng came over and said sincerely. What he said was in his heart. Truc Tuesday was very good to him, better than his grandmother. Truc Tuesday grabbed Wang Changsheng's right hand, nodded and said, Good son, don't waste your time. Grandma loves you. Whoever your father sent to this world is not good, he will send you over and over again. Worldly world, otherwise you won't become a 5-layer refiner. Vuong Min Bean smiled bitterly for dozens of ways. Auntie, Sun is also helpless because of that. She waved her sleeve and said, Okay, this is your family business, I won't interfere. I have let Tu Heng prepare the meat and wine, let's eat and talk. Changsheng, tell your grandma about your experience these years, let grandma listen. Truc Tuesday pulled Vuong Truong Sinh to go out. Vuong Duta waited for his followers behind. Wang Changsheng said once in these 3 years of experience, of course, related to the matter of Xuanjin mineral vein, he didn't say a word. Xuanjin mineral vein changed to spirit vein. Arriving at Ho Deep Kok on the way, Vuong Min Bean repeatedly instructed Vuong Truong Sinh to bring Huyan Kim mineral vein to say it was a spirit vein. Hearing that Vuong Truong Sinh discovered the most of the spirit vein, Truc Tuesday's eyes flashed a few parts of surprise in her cloudy eyes. She did not ask about the use of the spirit vein. Vuong Min Bean and Tru Tu Heng also walked side by side, talking in low voices. Not long after, a group of people entered the most spacious and bright hall. In the hall there was a round wooden table. On the table there were more than 10 dishes of food. The smell was fragrant, letting people listen to whatever they wanted. Extended eating. Truc Tuesday took the lead to sit down. She let Vuong Truong Sinh sit beside her. The other people followed and sat down. Changsheng, Grandma knows that you're here, deliberately letting the person you like to eat the white lint fish sugar vinegar. You eat a bit more, you look thin. Truc Tuesday pointed to a dish and signaled to Vuong Truong Sinh with chopsticks. Changsheng's brother, it is also your treatment. Even though the bai lan fish is a first-class low-grade lingyu, it takes 2 years of maintenance before you can eat it. I've come to buy and sell. I wanted to eat it a few days ago, but the mother didn't give it to me. Zhao Ningxiang said sourly. For Vuong Truong Sinh, who received special treatment, he felt a lot of admiration. What do you say, this girl? Mother doesn't lack love for you on normal days. Your brother has worked so hard for once. How is eating a head of a white lint? You go to your uncle as a guest and express your uncle when you used Shuiyan millet to treat you. Why didn't you say it? Zhao Ziyang glared at him, not politely reprimanding. Zhao Ningxiang heard that. At this time, his mouth was small, his head was lowered, his face was full of grievances. Big brother, this girl Ningxiang doesn't mean anything else, don't blame her. Vuong Minbin hit a circle. Vuong Duta nodded and said, that's right, Tu Hang, it's rare for us to eat at the same place. What kind of gas do you and your child bring? Move your chopsticks. Tu just hatched Toyot Van Millet, the rice and water are ready for you. Hearing this, Tru Ning Hong was happy now. On the other hand, Wang Chengsheng listens to the elders chatting while eating, unless Truc Tuesday opens his mouth to ask, otherwise he will not open his mouth. Zhao Ningxiang is relatively lively, occasionally plugging in a few sentences, making people laugh freely. The atmosphere is very harmonious. Ah, it's a pity that Nok Tri passed away early. If she was still alive, she would be fine. Truc Tuesday suddenly remembered something, put down his chopsticks, sighed and said. Truc caused it to be Wang Chengsheng's great-grandmother, and had a very good relationship with Truc Tuesday. Hearing this, the crowd quickly withdrew the smiles on their faces. Ming Bean, you shouldn't blame your aunt for rambling. You are the head of the family. You have to do well to set an example, but you can't suffer as a son, and Thoner, Min Bean is the best. Righteous wife, you have to try to replace the royal family to say goodbye. When Nok Tri was still alive, he looked forward to seeing you give birth to many children, full of children and grandchildren. Truc Tuesday's core language is spoken by the school. Wang Mingyuan nodded. I'm worried about you. I know what to do. The granddaughter-in-law carefully obeys her aunt's instructions. Truc Tuesday happily nodded, rushed to Vuong Duta and said, Duta, you are also old, so enjoying happiness will enjoy happiness. Family affairs are important, body is more important. Nok Tri was in his time. Point. There is no need to complain to me, saying that you have been in a hurry to handle the family affairs all day. You have forgotten to eat. You are old, you should let go of your hands. You are tired and want to die. Wang Yaozu heard this, warm heart, nodded and said, Big sister is right. I will pay attention to take good care of myself. You don't have to work too hard. Truc Tuesday shook his head and said, I can't come back. My clan's internal affairs are assigned to Tu Hang to handle. He is not bad. Big and small matters are handled neatly. Wang Yaozu's expression moved slightly, rushed to Wang Chengsheng and asked, Chengsheng, have you eaten yet? Eat enough. Have a full meal, then go play with your brother, sister. On the way, didn't you say that you haven't played with them for a long time? Ning Zan, Ning Hong, you guys take Chengsheng to go fishing with a fish ball. Let Chengsheng fish for a few heads of bai lan fish to return. Yes, ancestor, father, grandfather, uncle, and judge, we are full, you eat slowly. Zhao Ningxuan and Zhao Ningxiang made a promise, taking Wang Chengsheng to leave. After Wang Chengsheng and the three went far away, Wang Yaozu opened his mouth and said, Big sister, there are no outsiders here, I'll tell you the truth. Chengsheng discovered a first-grade middle-grade spirit vein. At the other end of the spirit vein is in Trong Bin District and Bin Duong District at the intersection. We sent people to set up the La Array, intending to plant a little spirit valley there. Never thought. Bin Duong Tong District, Lu, Tun the three clans even united, sending that ambush to one place the clan's stronghold, the 9 brothers, the 10 qualities, the 19 qualities in a row. Speaking of this, his face could not help but reveal a sad and angry color. Truc Tuesday's face changed, frowned and said, What's going on? They're fine, why do you want to deal with your royal family? We don't know either. Our royal family's strength is the weakest in Chengping County, but not everyone can step on 2 feet. At most the fish will die and the net will be torn, not more than 10,000 helpless. Yes, we don't want to do this. Big sister, Lu family and Yu Zhao family are family relations. We come this time. I hope you tell from the inside. Everyone is relatives. There's no need to hurt the peace. If there's anything you can sit down to have a good talk, it's not worth the pain. Let's talk. Du Zhu, although we Zhao family and Lu family are related, but Lu family is not dependent on us Zhao family, we're afraid we won't be able to interfere in this matter. True Knock Tuesday had some difficulty speaking. Of course, she will not believe Wang Yaozu's words on one side. Publicity is public, private is private. Speaking of which, Lu family and Wang family are both Zhao family's family relationship, and it's not enough. Zhao house will not favor anything a house. And, we just wanted to ask the Lu family to pass on the message. We should not be taken advantage of by people with good intentions. Everyone is a family. We can sit down to have a good conversation. Really want to fight. Wang our family will not be afraid. At most the fish will die and the net will be torn. When Wang Mingyuan said this, his eyes were filled with murderous aura. If it's just a convenient message, no problem. True Knock Tuesday thought and responded. Big sister, if it's possible, I hope you can let the Lu family send someone to come. We can have a frank discussion. There are some things that can be solved at the table. It's not necessary. Wobble, you're right, aren't you? Vuong Yutong showed a very low attitude, calling True Knock Tuesday for him. That's right. Auntie, we want to let you lead the bridge and answer the line. From the inside, Auntie, if you can let the Lu family and our royal family shake hands with us to make peace, the child can be in control. Pass the technique of raising silkworms to Tu Heng's brother. True Knock Tuesday's eyes shined, and it was a bit hard to believe that he asked, really? The Zhao family's main source of income is based on the sale of Lin Nu, but Lin Nu said that they rarely want to raise livestock for 2 years to be able to sell it. It takes too long. The Zhao family still wants to make something else interesting. However, for other professions, the solution is not deep. It is illegal to intervene. The royal family raises a few pairs of silkworms. The silk can be used for refining, and every year, the royal family can bring a lot of benefits. The most important thing is that the spirit silkworm can grow and can make the family of spiritworms nurtured. But the Wang family strictly applied the technique of controlling silkworms, and did not secrete it at all. Zhao family tried to raise spirit silkworms, but in the end, they all failed. Each cultivation immortal family has their own path to wealth. They will strictly control the clan's internal secrets, and will not arbitrarily release it. The Zhao family once asked the royal family about the technique of raising silkworms, but the core part, the Wang family refused to teach it anyway. The value of Zon Kim mineral veins is much more important than that of silkworm rearing, not to mention that the Zhao family and the Wang family are far apart. Even if the Zhao family cultivates a few pairs of silkworms, it will not affect the income of the royal family. Of course it's true, Auntie, I'm the head of the royal family, I still keep my word. True Knock Tuesday took a deep breath, pondered for a while, and said, Min Bean, you are tired on the way, first rest well for a night, tomorrow I will give you a more sure answer. Auntie, this matter, before Wang Mingyuan's words were spoken, he was interrupted by Wang Yaozu. Okay, then it will be troublesome for big sister. Uncle, brother, younger brother, Tam Hua Lu is our only Zhao family. The taste is not bad, you drink a few cups. True Tu Heng picked up the wine gourd and gave the crowd a cup. Then how many cups should we drink? Yes, Tu Heng, Ning Hong is not small, says her husband's family is not. Vuong Yuta very consciously changed the topic. Zhao Ziheng smiled bitterly and said, this girl's eyes are too high, her mother pampered her, couldn't leave her so quickly, I got married, I just had to let it go. Elder boys get married. Older girls get married. Girls should also get married. Do you want to bring a son-in-law to your house? Vuong Yutong despised. True Knock Tuesday shook his head and said, that's not it. This girl has a relatively good temperament. This year is only 16 years old. The age is still young. I want her to stay by my side for 2 more years, of course. I also hope for her to find a good fiancé. Lu Tan Nhi smiled and said, Aunt is right, there is a very good saying, men are afraid to enter the wrong things, women are afraid of marrying the wrong man, marriage is a big deal, can't be ignored, Aunt, Truong Sinh is your look. When you grow up, how do you feel about longevity? True Knock Tuesday hesitated a little, said, Cheng Sheng is honest and true to himself, there are not so many deceitful hearts, he is the only grandson of Nok Tri, I really like this child. Auntie, I'll put it bluntly, the husband and the husband both really like this baby Ning Hong. I also like it, how do we get closer to each other? I look at these 2 children, they are very married. How do you feel? That's right. Big sister, let's go to the one to increase personally. Changsheng and Ninghong played from childhood to adulthood, young and old. I remember Nok Tri when he was alive. I hope to give up. Ninghong is a niece-in-law. We also really like this baby Ningxiang. What do you mean? Vuong Gia spoke up and said. True Nagong Hong is the true family, the precious pearl in the hand, but True Ninghong's mother is from Hong Deep to lead the Lam family. Vuong Truong Sinh and True Ninghong become relatives, regardless of whether it is for the royal family or Vuong Truong Sinh, both have very useful. True Nok Tuesday is somewhat moved. She really likes this granddaughter True Nagong Hong, changed her personality, and soon got married. Vuong Truong Sinh is a relative of her brother, sister, and grandson, but she grew up from watching. If two people get married, she is happy from the beginning, not to mention Vuong Gia also said, this is True Nok causing trouble. Therefore, True Nok Tuesday is really not convenient to refuse. She hesitated for a moment, then said, if it was someone else, I could immediately agree, but Vu Din only has such a daughter. Vu Din's aunt and uncle is the head of the Lam family. I want to be with Vu. Ting negotiated for a bit, asked her opinion, but Vu Din returned to his grandmother's house after a while. That's it. After a while, I will give you a definite answer. She did not respond, nor did she refuse. Wang Mingyuan frowned and was about to open his mouth, but Wang Yaozu grabbed it in front of him. No problem, then we will wait for Big Sister's good news. This meal was eaten for more than an hour, and after the battle, True Tu Heng personally provided Vuong Gia to a house to arrange accommodation. After arranging the three of Wang Yaozu well, he went to True Nok Tuesday's residence. Mother, Ninghong's marriage is a big deal. You can control it. You don't need to consult Vu Din. You are the elder. Vu Din is your son and wife. She will not object. I know Vu Din will not object. I am worried that it is Ninghong who opposes. This girl is quite stubborn. She and I are still in the same place for a long time compared to you in the same place. I understand. I know her very well. This girl has a high mind and pride. Her master's spiritual sense has reached 75. In nearly 16 years, she has cultivated to the 6th layer of refining. This child is 19 years old this year, Changsheng. Beyond the 5 stages of refining, Vu Din doesn't really pay attention to him. True Nok Tuesday said softly. True Tu Heng was startled, nodded and said, in the same way, Ningxiang is the successor of our Zhao family with the best qualifications. This child's Changsheng's qualities are not bad, but his qualifications are indeed a bit inferior. True Nok Tuesday shook his head, sighed and said, quality is not the main point. Except for Ninghong, our clan also has other excellent disciples. Without the Truc County monk to sit in town, the family destroyed in just one night. I plan to replace Ninghong with a son-in-law to come to the house, let her sit in the town the next day. Of course, if the inner clan appeared, Ningxiang was better than the successor. On the contrary, it was possible to let her marry out, but at present, it seems that the inner clan is not better than her successor. Customary. Can't blame you for giving her a lot of resources. The original was to make her a monk to train. True Nok Tuesday waved his sleeve and said, don't talk about this. You go to the army and they call them into the conference room, and discuss with them how to answer Min Bean. Mother, shouldn't you just talk on behalf of the two families? There's no need to call another meeting for this small matter. Eat people with short mouths. Force people to be lenient. Really achieve the technique of raising silkworms. Can't we still hear what the royal family says? You called Zijin and them. We discussed it carefully. Enlisting to gain greater benefits. Public and private must separate. Yes, mother. Zhao Ziyang replied with a voice, turned around and left. Some big lake. Wang Changsheng 3 people sat by the lake to fish. The lake has a few large and small samples. In the lake there is a large number of first-grade low-grade Lin Nu Bok Lan Nu. Bai Lan fish is a popular type of Lin Nu, delicious meat, not high requirements for situations, gentle and docile temperament, and often can see the figure of Bai Lan fish at the table. The Zhao family raised a lot of Bai Lan fish, which were up to 5 pounds long and could be sold. These Bai Lan fish were the main source of income for the Zhao family. Changsheng expressed, brother, you just said with your mother, you go to the secular world to take charge of the heavenly master, have fun in the secular world. I haven't gone to the secular world yet. Zhao Ningxiang glared at him and asked curiously. Wang Changsheng shook his head and said, there is no good in the world, the spiritual energy is weak, even a block of spirit vein does not exist, the cultivation speed is especially slow. Zhao Ningxiang was a bit disappointed, said, like this. I originally wanted to go to the world to play a bit. Listening to you talk like this, I don't want to go, but I have to say it again and again. Changsheng expressed your brother's cultivation speed is too slow. I'm all 6th layer refining, you're only 5th layer refining. Wait until I get to you this year. It's estimated that they all have 7th layer refining. At this point, her face showed a proud expression. Zhao Ningxuan's face was serious and reprimanded. Ningxiang, how can I say this? Brother Changsheng, you shouldn't misunderstand. Ningxiang doesn't mean anything else. It's okay. Ningxiang's sister is this temperament, what do you think about? Wang Changsheng also did not keep it in his heart. When he was a child, he often followed his grandmother to the Zhao family as a guest. He and Zhao Ningxiang could be said to be young children. True Ninghong has a relatively good personality. Her mother is a disciple of the Lam family. From a small collection of thousands of love and affection into one body, pampered since childhood, she nurtured her arbitrary personality, saying whatever she thinks, will not consider the feelings of others. Of course, she also has no malice. Wang Changsheng has become a habit. He, it's still Changsheng's brother who understands me. Yes, Changsheng's brother, have you thought about entering the immortal sect? Listen to me, after a few years, the 4 great sects will expanding the mountain gate. Recruiting and accepting disciples. The 4 great sects only open the mountain gate once every 20 years, plus collect the conditions. Each monk has only 1 chance. True Ninghong said with a smile. Her expression was somewhat excited. Walking into the immortal sect. I don't have this thought. My qualifications are not very good. Even if I'm lucky enough to join the sect, I'm also a disciple of the outer sect. I heard that the time of an outer sect's disciple is also good. It's not easy to overcome. Every day is in a hurry to handle all kinds of chores. If you can't do it, there will be no punishment. I still have to stay at home. Wang Changsheng did not pay attention. Although his qualifications are normal, but if he can become an artifact refiner, the family will provide materials for him to refine. He can collect resources to purchase ancillary equipment for the mascot. If as a matter of worshipping and joining the immortal sect, cultivating the immortal sect may not necessarily provide the materials for him to refine. The most important thing is that he received his education from a young age to be loyal to the family, because the family is excellent, and the sect has no affection for him. That's right, there are close friends in the family. Going to the immortal sect, not being used to life here, walking with difficulty, falling ill, and not even having any kind of care for you. Zhao Ningxuan strongly agreed. Can't say the same. Everything is beneficial and harmful. Cultivating the immortal sect is rich in resources. There are also the best exercises to practice. What is the future in living in Ningzhou? The belly is only the Truc Co period. Only standing in a higher place can you hope to go further. Zhao Ningxiang said loudly, in his words, full of fighting spirit. Wang Changsheng and Zhao Ningxuan glanced at each other, seeing the other's face full of shock. They didn't expect that Zhao Ningxiang would actually say such eloquent words this time. Everybody's pursuit is different. Ningxiang's sister, Auntie agrees that you want to worship and join the immortal sect. My ancestors still don't know. I will tell her, if I can join the immortal sect, there is also a good place for the Zhao family to develop. She will definitely agree. You guys really don't consider joining the cult. Immortal sect. If we are in the same place to worship and cultivate, we can support each other, and our family is also good. True Ninghong enthusiastically advised. Wang Changsheng was somewhat moved, hesitated for a moment, said, I will go back and ask my father. If father agrees, then I will try it once. Zhao Ningxuan shook his head and said, forget it. It is said that every time the 4 great sects open the mountain gate, many people who break their heads want to worship and practice the immortal sect. I heard there are many times each time the monk died on the stage. I still stay at home honestly. Cultivation immortal sect doesn't have to be entered to enter. Zhao Ningxiang spoke to Zhao Ningxuan for a bit, then angrily said, Big brother, you are really disheartened. Changsheng's brother, you go back well and talk to your uncle. Until then we will go to worship together. Teacher, wait until we become disciples of the immortal sect. Your big brother will cry. Wang Changsheng nodded in agreement. Zhao Ningxuan smiled bitterly. Whoa, the fish is hooked. Hooked. Zhao Ningxiang forcefully pulled a fishing rod. A big fish about 2 meters long flew out of the lake. The whole body was white as snow. The outside was spread with white scales, biting the hook in the mouth. Zhao Ningxiang's face was full of joy, released the hook, and threw the head of this white dragon fish into the wooden barrel. An hour later, Wang Changsheng happily brought the first year of the White Lantern back to his residence. Returning to the residence, Vuong Truong Sinh and Vuong Minh Bien talked a little bit about worshipping and joining the immortal sect. Wang Mingyuan pondered for half a day, solemnly asked, Sir, do you really want to join the immortal sect? Wang Chengsheng thought about it and said, The child is not very eager, but Ningxiang told me that it is not wrong. If we can worship and join the immortal sect, it will also be good for us royal family. Good place. If you can become an inner sect disciple, it's still easy to say. If outer sect disciple, what can you do? My father knows. The four great sects, any sect, just outer sect disciples have more than 1,000 people, can be promoted to inner sect from the outside, sporadically. There are not many, easy to say as outer sect disciple, in fact it is a smut, you have no background, no ideas. Of course, my father is not saying that you are not as good as others, but if you can become a refiner, you will definitely become a family. The focus of the ethnic group is to train the target audience, it is not worth going to the sect for the valet. Wang Mingyuan sighed, then continued. Of course, if you are determined to join the immortal sect, your father will not stop you, waiting for the four great sects to hold the Ascension Assembly. You can try it once. If you can join the immortal sect, father will be happy for you. Children, Madam participated in the Ascension Assembly. The competition was extremely fierce. If you are not careful, you will die. I don't think you will go to the Ascension Assembly. If something goes wrong, ma'am. Also, don't forget how your uncle died. He risked his life to protect things. Isn't it because the family has a better future? Help Ju uncle to fulfill this wish. None said so much. If you still want to worship and join the immortal sect, she will not stop you. She will personally take you to Tianduyan City. Speaking of this, Lu Tanyi's eyes are a bit pink. She didn't expect Wang Chengsheng to go to the Ascension Assembly, but she was worried that Wang Chengsheng would have an accident, but she must admit that there are many surprises in practicing immortal sect, Vuong Truong. If she really wanted to join the immortal sect, she wouldn't stop her. Father, mother, I'm just telling you, I can't actually leave you. I'm still in the family, learn the art of refining well. Wang Chengsheng hesitated for a moment, saying so. He grew up from a small family, has a strong affection for the family, and persuaded by Wang Mingyuan and Lu Qinger, he was not interested in joining the immortal sect. As long as he becomes a key family to train a refiner, the treatment will not compare to the disciples of the outer sect's immortal sect. Vong Minbin happily nodded his head and said, Good, it's not early, you go home and rest. Take the bail and fish well. Yes, father. After Wang Chengsheng left, Vong Minbin sighed and said, I didn't expect this girl Ning Hong to have such a big ambition. No wonder her aunt didn't respond just now. It seems that the door is open. This is not possible. If you want me to see, it can't be the best. This girl is so ambitious. If she is really married to Sin Nhi can't really treat her, can't pay her when she's easy. Lu Tan Nhi didn't pay attention to it. She seemed to remember something, and continued to say, Today this matter gives me a wake-up call. Sin's age is not small, I want him to talk about a marriage. After becoming a family, he should be a little mature, not to the point of hearing Ning Hong a few sentences. He wants to worship and join the immortal sect. Sinner is honest with his nature, too strong a woman is not suitable for him, today. Come on, I want to have a good chat with Nhitu and see if there is a suitable object. This is not in a hurry, wait for the ascending immortal assembly to go back and forth. If he really wants to join the immortal sect, let him try it once. Lu Tan Nhi nodded and agreed. On the second day, after having breakfast, Vuong Truong Sinh and Tru Ningxuan went out to play, leaving Truc Co Tuesday to wait for someone. Yao Zhu, we can help you with this, but we can't promise that the Lu family will definitely stop, we can only do our best. Truc Co Tuesday said solemnly. Wang Yaozhu immediately rejoiced and replied. No problem, with this big sister talking, I can rest assured, Min Bean, I will give the technique of raising silkworms to big sister. Vong Minbin took out a blue jade card from his sleeve and gave it to Truc Co Tuesday. Truc Co Tuesday Shen's consciousness swept over, nodded with satisfaction, hesitated a bit, said, Ming Yuan, can you send someone to direct one? In the jade slip there are many words that are relatively vague. Quote. Vong Minbin smiled and said, Aunt, Tan Nhi is in charge of raising spirit silkworms. It is still my mother holding hands to teach her. We brought a pair of silkworm larvae. There is also Lin Tang Tree Cat. Tan Nhi has if you can hold hands with your sister-in-law to raise silkworms, you won't be private. Vong Minbin has done all the preparations. He is determined that Truc Co Tuesday will definitely agree to say the same. After all, it is only a word, the Zhao family has no reason not to respond. Vu Din was not at home. Tu Hang immediately let the old Nu and the old Luke come to visit. Let them and Ton Nhi learn the technique of raising silkworms. Ton Nhi, the old Nu, the old Luke are relatively stupid wives. Bother you to teach them with my heart. I wrote a handwritten letter yesterday and sent someone to give it to the Lu family. True Tu Hang agreed to one word, accepted the order and left. Auntie is polite. This is what the granddaughter-in-law should do. Lu Ton Nhi humbly said. 3 days later, the owner of the house, Lu Hoan, brought 2 old clansmen to Ho Deep Valley. Lu Weiren is 53 years old this year. He used to be in charge of transporting goods. For the sake of the demon, he made a plan. He learned from the inside of Song Ziyang's mouth that the Vuong family had discovered the most mineral veins, and they were in harmony with each other. Together with the Sun family, the 3 families joined forces to deal with the royal family, and it would be best to capture this mineral vein. However, a few days ago, when sending out the clan members to report back, Wang Yaozong personally rescued and killed a member of the Lu family. Not too long ago, Vuong Yutong rode the second-grade middle-grade Kim Tui Falcon to Tan Truc Phuong town, turned around Tan Truc Cock a few times, and took the other monks who were confused, and thought that someone wanted to attack the town. Vuong Yutong threw down a few corpses, saying that he had killed the evil monk, and at the same time threw down obediently, "If you do not offend me, I will not offend you. If you provoke me, I must also provoke you." Those who need soft persimmons, those who want to humiliate the royal family, I, Wang Yaozong, do not agree to the first one. Obviously, this is Vuong Yutong warning the 3 workers not to look too much. If it's only one Vuong Yutong, the other 3 families are not afraid, but if it is added a second-order middle-grade Kim Tui Eagle, then it is not the same. Lin holds extremely fast flight speed, compared to the flexible spirit beast, like a dead fish in a torn net. Alone in a house, it is not necessarily able to support the royal family. Of course, if it was an all-out attack, the Vuong family would definitely not be an opponent, but in that situation, the other 3 families would also suffer a lot. The key problem is that, in Tan Thatch Town, there are vascular metal mines, at least if it is a medium-sized metal mine. If it is a small-sized mine, each family can't share much or less resources. However, there is currently no evidence that can prove that the stone quarry is a medium-sized metal mine. In case the Song family weaves for no reason, wants to borrow from the Lu family and the Sun family to deal with the Vuong family, so not good either. At this moment, Lu Hoan received True Nok Tuesday's personal letter, let him go to Ho Deep Valley, sat down with Vuong Min Bin and talked for a while. After all, everyone is a relative. The Zhao family and the Lu family are family relations. The Zhao family and the Vuong family are also family relations. The Zhao family comes out to talk, it's reasonable. Lu Hoan's younger brother married True Nok Tuesday as a woman. The 2 families were relatively busy. Lu Hoan, on the other hand, was not worried that True Nok Tuesday would plot to harm him, so he led the 2 old clansmen to the door. You are listening to Stories at Audio Good Stories. Subscribe to the channel to support me. End of episode 2.